Here we go. We should be back in the building. Y'all know what to do. It is that time. Drop a 1 in the chat if you can hear me. Drop a 1 in the chat if you can see me. We're looking all crispy and clean on the screen. And welcome to everyone. Welcome back to another YouTube live stream and another episode of the ClassE Morning Show. I'm your host, ClassE, at patreon.com/ClassEbeats. By the way, the link is in the description as well as in the pinned comment in the chat. Today, we are getting back into this murder trial. Going crazy. We've got Nick Kassotis. I always say his name wrong. Nick Kassotis. Shout out to Nick Kassotis. He is on trial for the murder and dismemberment of his wife. And we're finally going to hear today from the medical examiner and find out exactly what happened, what the cause of death was, and how the medical examiner was literally able to put the pieces together. Too soon? Probably. We're going to cover that. We're going to talk about a little bit of what's going on with Gilbert Arenas. We're going to look into this indictment that's been filed against him, and we're going to go and break down the indictment. But before I get into that, I got to say what's up to the people, man, real quick. Shout out to the gang in the building. We got everybody up in here. My awesome, amazing Amy is in the building, of course. Does not miss a show. We've got Les Cleaver up in here as well. Shout out to Les Cleaver. Who else is in the building? We've got Slim Life New Jersey. Jay Buckmaster. Prince Habib is in here. Shout out to you. Taco Tuesday is in the building as well. Good to see y'all in here. We're gonna go ahead and get right into it, but before I do, I have to ask you all a favor. If you could, please make sure you like the video. Okay? Likes are free. It helps the channel continue to grow, and it takes less than a second. It lets the algorithm know that you all are enjoying the show, and it shares the video, it shares the channel out with more people. So if you could take a second, like the video, I appreciate it. Also, if you're feeling extra generous, you could share the video as well. I'm actually going to go ahead and share it right now myself because I always forget to do this. So that's why I remind you guys, if you could, you can share it over on X. You can share it on Facebook, Instagram. You can even share it into your group chat via text message. So if you haven't done that this morning, make sure y'all go ahead and do that. It really does help us out. And like I said, it's free. All right, so let me go ahead and share this. I also will be giving a special shout out and thank you to everyone who has sent in super chats as well. So big shout out to y'all. I know we've got a bunch of them in there already. So let me shout out everyone who sent in a super chat, and then we'll get right into the content. Les Cleaver in here going crazy. Gifted 5 memberships. If you got a membership from Les Cleaver, do the right thing. Make sure you say thank you. He's giving you an opportunity to access our members only content. You also get instant access to any video we drop here on the channel. You get your name highlighted in green, and you have custom emojis you can use as a member as well. So thank you to Les Cleaver, always coming through and showing major support and love. He's dropped a super chat as well with the 10 bomb. Says, good morning, ClassE and Amy and my CEB family. I love you all. He means it too. Best channel you will ever be at. I'll take it. Choose to love one another as God chose to love you as you are. Amen. Les Cleaver, man. Amen. He sent another super chat in here. He's going crazy. He said, to each of you in here, you are all inspiring and blessing to this channel. I wish you all the best. Amen. And he also goes on with another 5 bomb and says, God has brought to this channel an awesome chat family. Each of you are a blessing. I thank God for bringing you here every day. Amen. Shout out to Les Cleaver. Thank you for the support, man. Major sponsor of today's show as well. Thank you, Les. We've also got Slim Life New Jersey in here with the 5 bomb. Says, hi, ClassE and fam. It's almost Friday. Friday's Eve is here. Today is a good day to remind yourself that you're amazing. And remember, God is good all the time, and all the time, God is good. Love you all. Amen. Amen and amen. Thank you, Slim Life. And appreciate you always being here consistently and showing support too. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We've got Amy in here dropping 5 memberships as well. Shout out to my awesome, amazing Amy. Always showing love and support. Again, if you got a membership from Amy, there's at least 5 of y'all that should be typing thank you in the chat. All right, we're polite here. We show love. And Amy's giving you an opportunity to take advantage of the memberships here on the ClassE YouTube channel. So thank you again to Amy. She does so much for the show, so much for this community, and it would not be the show it is without her. So thank you for being here. I love you. I appreciate you as always. All right, let's keep it going. We're going to get into the content. Mr. Brown's in the building too. What's up, Mr. Brown? Let's go ahead and get into the medical examiner's testimony. This testimony in the Nicholas Kassotis trial is going to be key. We are going to hear from the medical examiner, and the medical examiner is going to tell us exactly what happened to the body, because as we know in this case, the body was not found in one piece. It was a dismemberment. Body was found, pieces of the torso was found here, the legs were found there, the head was found somewhere else. What? So now let's go ahead and get into it, see what the medical examiner has to say, and then of course we'll get to cross-examination after that.
Good afternoon, Doctor.
Good afternoon.
Please raise your right hand.
Do you swear and affirm the testimony that you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Thank you, and please be seated.
May I inquire?
Yes, ma'am.
Good afternoon, Doctor.
Good afternoon.
Can you please state and spell your full name for the court reporter?
Keith Lamar Lehman, Keith.
Shout out to Keith. That's quite the name.
Lamar Lehman.
And Dr. Lehman, where do you work?
I work at the State Medical Examiner's office here in Georgia. It's part of the Georgia Bureau of Investigation.
And specifically, where is your physical office?
Most of the time I work out of the headquarters office, which is in the Atlanta area.
Okay. Do you occasionally have to travel for that position?
Yes.
Did you ever have to travel down here to the Savannah location or Pooler Coastal Crime Laboratory?
I'm sure.
Yes.
And is that part of your job as well?
Yes.
What are your duties at the crime laboratory or the state crime lab?
Yeah, well, my duties are mostly centered around the performance of autopsies. Autopsy is basically an examination of the body after death in order to make certain determinations, including determining why the person died. And so I perform autopsies and then do other activities related to that, such as testifying in court. We talk to local investigators about cases to gather information. We review medical records. We have residents and fellows that rotate through our office, and we're involved in teaching them, basically teaching them how to perform autopsies and do the same kind of stuff that I do.
How long have you been doing this?
For 26 years.
Wow.
Has it always been in that role?
Yes.
And are you a licensed physician?
Yes.
What kind of a doctor are you?
I'm a forensic pathologist.
Okay. Does that mean basically the job description you just gave us?
Yes.
And as a physician, where are you licensed?
I'm licensed to practice medicine here in Georgia.
How long have you been practicing medicine?
I've had my full medical license since 1999, so 26 years.
And you've always done this?
Yes.
Are you still in that capacity right now?
Yes.
Where did you receive your training in pathology?
Yeah, I successfully completed a residency training at the University of North Carolina Hospital System. And during my 5 years doing studies there, I did a special year study called a fellowship in the field of forensic pathology. It's basically the field that I work in now. And then after my training in North Carolina, I did another year of training, this time at the Fulton County Medical Examiner's office in Atlanta, which was another year of fellowship training in forensic pathology.
And can you explain to the jury the difference between a forensic pathologist and a coroner?
Yeah. In Georgia, the coroners are elected officials. The coroners are usually not physicians. They are involved with the county coroner's office. So they're like the first line of investigation of a death, along with oftentimes the local police agency. So the coroner is involved in doing the initial death investigation, and then if they feel like an autopsy may be warranted, or forensic autopsy may be warranted, they'll call us at the state medical examiner's office and talk to us, and then if we agree with them, we'll have them send the body to us, and then we'll perform an autopsy. One of the medical examiners in our office, one of the forensic pathologists, will perform an autopsy. And then at the conclusion of the autopsy, we will give our opinion as to what caused the death, and then we'll let the coroner's office know, and then the coroner is the one who fills out the death certificate.
So you don't personally prepare the death certificate, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. And if the coroner has a body that they want you to consider, they would reach out to you? Is that what you said?
Yes.
And is that always the procedure?
Yeah, almost always. Sometimes we'll get notified about a death by law enforcement, but the vast majority of the time it's the coroner's office who gives us the information and asks us about the case.
Okay. And can you describe for the jury you described where you went to school and that information. Did you do any training when you came to the Georgia Bureau to the crime laboratory, the state medical examiner's office?
Well, I in my last year of fellowship training at Fulton County Medical Examiner's Office, which is in the Atlanta area, I rotated over to the GBI for 2 or 3 months and did some of my training during that year at the GBI.
And was that all that experience that you just described? Was that prior to you starting performing autopsies?
Yeah, well, we as a fellow in training, we do perform autopsies under the supervision of some of the medical examiners there. But that was before I started doing unsupervised autopsies.
Okay. And at some point they basically cleared you to do it on your own. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. And how long have you been doing that now on your own?
For 26 years.
Okay. Specifically, have you ever testified before as a medical expert in the field of forensic pathology?
Yes.
Approximately how many times?
Approximately 300 times.
What counties?
Gosh, a lot of counties in Georgia. I haven't testified in all of them, but many of the counties. I've testified here before.
Okay. Have you ever been denied expert status as a forensic pathologist?
No.
At this time, Your Honor, I would seek to introduce this witness as a forensic pathologist expert.
No questions and no objections.
He is qualified as an expert in the field of forensic pathology.
Now, I'm going to direct your attention to December 6th of 2022 and December 9th of 2022. Were you called upon to perform an autopsy on a person at the request of Special Agent Tracy Sands of the Georgia Bureau of Investigation and the coroner in this county?
Yes.
And as a result of that request, did you in fact perform that autopsy?
Yes, I did.
Did this case get assigned a unique case number associated with that medical examination?
Yes.
And I don't know if I asked you this. Can you explain to the jury just what an autopsy actually is?
Yes, so an autopsy is basically an examination of a body after death in order to make certain determinations, including determine what caused the death.
And specifically, you indicated that this case had a case number. Can you tell us what that number was?
Yes, it is 2022-600-7185.
Excuse me. Your Honor, may we approach?
Each case we go with each autopsy gets its own number.
And is that the same in every crime laboratory in the state of Georgia that you work with? Meaning if you're in Atlanta, you would get a separate case number for each case, just the same as if you were here in the local area?
Yes.
Okay. And what is the purpose of that case number?
Well, it's a way to identify the case, and so all of the evidence and all of the reports associated with any sort of examination within the crime lab that all gets linked to this case number, so that all the reports can be put together into one place, and so you can find from one case all of the reports. You know where the report is and which for a report which case it goes with.
How many autopsies a year approximately do you perform?
Per year, I would say it varies. It's varied depending on how busy we were in our staffing. I'd say I performed at the GBI probably anywhere from maybe 210 to 450 autopsies a year.
A
It
year?
could range. Yeah.
And is an autopsy always associated with a criminal investigation?
No.
Can you tell the jury when an autopsy might be performed that's not associated with a criminal case?
Yeah. So for forensic autopsies that would be ordered by the state to be performed, there's certain types of deaths that we might autopsy. You know, everybody that dies doesn't get an autopsy. So certain examples of cases that would get a forensic autopsy might be relatively young people who die suddenly and unexpectedly and don't have a medical history that reasonably explains their death. Somebody who dies and is suspected to possibly be a death related to a drug overdose. There's certain types of suicides will autopsy. And some of the examples we might see are hangings, self-inflicted gunshot wounds, people that die from intentional drug overdoses. And many of the deaths in custody, in police custody, will autopsy. And then deaths that are suspicious. In other words, deaths where the case appears to be or appears to possibly be a homicide. Those are autopsy as well. So those are some examples of the types of cases that we might bring in for autopsy.
And in this case, you indicated that case number and that came in through law enforcement, is that right?
I'm sorry?
This case came in through law enforcement, though. It was not one of those other types. It was actually a criminal investigation.
Yes.
Okay. Did you ultimately perform an autopsy at the time of that receipt of the body?
I performed autopsy on December the 6th and December the 9th of that year, 2022.
At this time, Your Honor, I'd like to mark this as State's Exhibit 1.62. It is an 8-page document I'm showing you to the council. May I approach, Your Honor?
Yes, ma'am.
Take a look at that, please, Doctor. Do you recognize that document, Doctor?
Yes, I do.
What is that document?
This appears to be a copy of the autopsy report I prepared for this case.
And did you prepare that actual report in its entirety?
Yes,
And is that a duplicate of the original report that was prepared?
it does appear to be.
Your Honor, at this time I'd like to seek to tender State's Exhibit, I believe it's 1.62.
Any objection? No objection, Your Honor.
Thank you. May I? Doctor, if at any time you need to review your report, can you just please let us know and I'll be happy to provide that to you, okay? Now, you indicated that you performed an autopsy on December 6th of 2022, is that right?
Yes.
Do you recall, if you recall, who was with you at that time?
I don't specifically recall. It would have been certainly we would have had some of the assistants there in the office. There was GBI crime scene specialist Brett Dickerson and Liberty County Sheriff's Office Detective Jack Frost did attend the autopsy.
Would you have documented that in your report?
Yes.
And why do you document items in a report?
Well, so when I get asked about it later, I can answer the question.
Be fair to say with 400 autopsies a year approximately, you don't necessarily remember every single detail of each autopsy that you perform?
Yeah, that's absolutely correct.
And do you document things as you're doing them during the course of an autopsy?
Yes.
Do you create medical notes?
Yes.
And are those preserved?
The notes are, some of the notes are preserved, yes, into the file.
Okay.
Some of them aren't.
Okay. And would those be done for the same reasons to assist you in reviewing your materials if you needed to?
Yes.
Okay. And with respect to that autopsy, can you tell the members of the jury what you do when you first receive a body at the medical examiner's office for an autopsy?
Yeah, so the initial step is we photograph, we take initial photographs of the body. We'll photograph the body bag tag that comes in. The body bags will be sealed, and before we open the body bag, we'll photograph the body bag tag to show how the bag was labeled. If the body is, if it's the type of case where we're going to do x-rays, we may go ahead and do x-rays at that time as well. And then the next step would be to open the body bag. And then really before we do any significant manipulation of the body, we'll go ahead and take photographs again just to document the condition of the body, as it was when we started the autopsy. And then after that, we'll begin examination of the body, which may include, depending on the case, recovery of evidence. If there's clothing on the body, we'll remove the clothing. Sometimes there's medical devices on the body from a person receiving emergency medical treatment. We'll remove those and document those things as well. And then we'll do the external examination, basically looking at the outside of the body. We'll we're looking for any evidence of natural disease or trauma or any other findings that might help us understand what happened to the person. And if we find potentially important things during our examination, we'll stop and take photographs of those.
And can you explain to the jury what a medical placard is?
A placard is it's basically a structure where we can put some sort of inscription. We use a placard basically as a label in our photographs, and some of our photographs that shows the case number, the unique case number for this case that we were talking about before.
So, Your Honor, I'm going to ask to approach the witness, and I'm going to ask to show him the state's exhibits 1.27 through 1.61. Doctor, did you have a chance to, and counsel has been provided a photocopy of each of these exhibits in addition, Your Honor, for the record. Did you have a chance to review all of those before your testimony here today?
Yes, I believe so.
Okay. And those photographs, are those some of the photographs that you took during the course of the autopsy?
Yes.
Are all of those a fair and accurate representation of the photographs that were taken during the course of the autopsy, both on, just so we're clear, December 6th of 2022 and December 9th of 2022?
Yeah, I reviewed the sets of photographs shortly before coming in here, and during my review at that time, they did appear to be accurate representations.
Okay. At this time, Your Honor, I would seek to tender all of those exhibits.
Any objection? No objection, Your Honor. They're admitted without objection.
Thank you.
It's 1.27 all the way through 1.61.
Correct, Your Honor. Would it be fair to say, Doctor, that there are far more photographs than what I've handed you?
Yes, there are significantly more.
How many photographs do you take? Does it depend on the case?
Oh, it absolutely does. Yes, it can vary quite a bit.
So, in this case, what photographs did you take of your autopsy? Do you recall what portions of the autopsy? Would it be the entire autopsy, just part of it? How does that work at the jury?
Yes. So we took many photographs on the outside of the body, and then in addition we took some photographs, significantly fewer, on the inside of the body. So once we open the body during the autopsy, we start out just looking at the outside. Then we'll open the body. We'll open the chest and the abdomen, look inside, remove the internal organs there. Same for the neck structures, and same for inside the head. And so we did take some internal body photographs, particularly in the region of the head, yes, but mostly external photographs in this case.
Okay. And the photographs of the interior of the head, can you explain to the jury why you would take photographs of the interior of a head?
Well, in this case, we took photographs to document injuries that were present, document there was significant bruising to the scalp. It was difficult to appreciate on the outside of the body. Sometimes there are things on the inside of the body that you can't see on the outside of the body. So in this case, there was significant scalp bruising that you couldn't fully appreciate on the outside of the body, in part because of the changes of decomposition that were taking place. We also documented some other findings too, documented what the brain looked like, documented what the skull looked like, and in some cases we documented the absence of significant findings.
When you first started performing the autopsy, did you have all of the portions of her body?
No. When we began the autopsy on the first day, December the 6th, we did not have the full body.
Okay. Did there ultimately come a time when you received the remaining portions of her remains?
Yes.
And I say her, was this a male or a female?
Female.
And was she identified at the time that you first received her?
No, she was not.
As a medical examiner receiving a person in the condition that you received her, would some of your investigation of the body be in an attempt to assist law enforcement in identifying her?
Yes.
Did you do that in this case as well?
Yes.
What types of steps would you take to try and see if you could assist with identification?
Well, the first step in a case where we don't know who it is would be for us. One of the first steps would be to take fingerprints, if you can, because there's a large databases that can be searched for fingerprints. It's different than something like dental records. For dental records, you really have to know who it might be so you can get their dental records. But for fingerprints, there's large databases that are available that you could potentially test. It also would be important to recover DNA. There's some DNA databases also available. So those are some of the first steps that we took in this case.
And with respect to DNA, as a medical examiner, what do you do to attempt to assist in that process?
We recover DNA from the body.
Okay.
So we'll recover certain tissue, blood or tissue that we think would have the best chance for the DNA scientist to be able to use to recover DNA.
Okay. And can you explain what a bloodstain card is?
Yeah, bloodstain card is basically it's a special card, and you take blood and you spot it onto the card, and then you let the card dry. So it's basically a card with dried blood on it, and it's our typical sample that we use as a DNA collection specimen. Pretty much in every case where we have blood that we autopsy, we will recover a blood card.
And where would the blood card go after you collect it?
The evidence, once we collect our evidence, it's say during an autopsy, the evidence will eventually go to an evidence holding area at the GBI facility. And then from there, the evidence will be distributed to whatever branch of the crime lab would do the testing. So if it's a bullet, it will go to the firearms lab. If it's blood for DNA testing, it will go to the DNA or the forensic biology lab.
And in this case, did you take bloodstain cards?
Yes.
I'm going to show the witness exhibits, Your Honor, 1.63, 1.64, 1.65, 1.66, and 1.67. May I approach the witness?
Yes, sir.
There are gloves if you prefer. Do you recognize the labels that are affixed to each of those exhibits?
Yes, I do.
And how do you recognize them?
Yeah, they have inscribed the unique case number for this case, and they have an inscription indicating what's present inside the
I
envelope.
didn't realize I was muted.
And are those, in fact, the actual bloodstain cards that you prepared and submitted to the crime laboratory for analysis?
Yes, they do appear to be.
Your Honor, at this time, I'd seek to tender State's Exhibits 1, 6, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7.
Any objection? No objection, Your
They
Honor.
are admitted.
Thank you. Why are there 5 cards?
There are 5 cards because the body was received in 5 pieces. We
Dang.
received a right leg, we received a left leg, we received a head with a portion of the neck, the upper portion of the neck attached, and we received the torso with the lower portion of the neck and the arms attached. So we received the body in 5 pieces. The body had been dismembered. And so we collected a DNA sample from each one of those pieces, in part initially to ensure that they all went with the same person. The DNA from all 5 matched. And then hopefully at some point we'd be able to identify who that person was.
Well, and just for clarification, you've said 5, Doctor. Did you also take a sample from the spleen, or rather the liver inside of the body?
Yes.
And Koberger was gruesome as well.
I can rephrase.
You can rephrase.
Did you
He already
document on
answered
each
the
of those
question.
bloodstain cards where each item was recovered from?
Yes, I did.
Can you please, looking at the first exhibit that's in your hand, tell us where that one was from?
Yes, this is from the torso, specifically the spleen.
Okay, and what about the next one?
The torso.
So the torso itself was one, and the torso spleen was a second?
That's right, yes.
And what was the third bloodstain card?
The right leg.
And the next?
Left leg.
And the
I think
next?
dismembered
head.
is
So
putting
there were
it
5
lightly.
in total, but those were from the 4 pieces plus the spleen?
That's correct. Yeah, there was.
Or rather, I said the spleen, I meant the liver. My apologies.
No, it was a spleen. You were correct. Yeah, it was. The body was in 4 pieces. That's correct. And there were 5 cards because we collected 2 from the torso. Yes.
Did you also at some point collect from the liver? And if you need something to refresh your recollection, please just let us know, Doctor.
Yes.
Objection to the extent he's looking at his notes right now. I'll overrule the objection.
You can refresh your recollection.
Yes. Yes, we did collect liver, along with other substances that we would potentially use for toxicology testing, yes.
Okay. And all of them would have been
Medical
prepared in the same
examiners do a
fashion?
lot.
Meaning a bloodstain card and then preserved in the way that you've just shown us?
No, the specimens for DNA that we talked about here would have been prepared on a card. The liver, we would have actually saved a relatively small portion of liver, the actual tissue, and saved it and kept it refrigerated for toxicology testing, a different kind of testing than DNA testing.
So, without being graphic, doctor, does that mean you literally cut a piece of the liver off and preserved it so it could be transported to another section of the laboratory for analysis?
Yes.
That's clearly not in this courtroom today, correct? As far as you know?
As far as I know, yes.
Okay. But that is something that you did in this case?
Yes.
Some of these
Now,
questions are pretty
when
lengthy.
you first
and compound.
testified, you talked about a placard. Your Honor, these are now in evidence and I'd like to publish. That's off, correct? Can you please turn that on now? I'm going to start on image 100. And counsel, if I may approach her. I'm going to start on December 6th with the first image in front of you. Just for the record, so I'm clear, Your Honor, I'm referring to slide 100. And doctor, if you can assist me, on the back of that exhibit, you'll see that there is a number written of slide 100. Do you see that?
Yes.
Just for your own records, did you have specific numbers associated with each one of the photographs as they were taken by the medical examiner's office in connection with the case?
Yeah. When the photographs are saved, they're digital photographs, so they're saved into a digital file, and each file has a name that has a number.
Okay, so on the back corner of each of those, I'm going to reference the number so that it's clear for the record, Your Honor. And if you would just tell us what exhibit number that is on the back of the card as well, just so the record's clear. So we're talking now, I guess, about exhibit 1.6. It's in front of you, the one I've already handed you, the stack.
Yeah, this is exhibit 1.27.
Thank you, 1.27. And can you tell the jury what's depicted in 1.27?
Yeah, this is the placard that we've discussed. It's basically a placard where we put information about the case
We
at
want
the
to see
top.
some of the
Coastal
evidence.
MEO stands for Medical Examiner's Office. This examination was performed at the Coastal Medical Examiner's Office, which is in the Savannah area. The date that the exam was performed, December the 6th, 2022, and then underneath the unique case number for the case.
And that is all done in an effort to preserve the information, is that correct?
Yes.
Now, if I turn to the next slide, that being 101, that would be 128, is that correct?
1.31
Oh,
states.
my apologies, 1.31. And can you tell us what's depicted there?
Yeah, this is the a label that was on. Some of the remains were received in a plastic box, and this is the label adjacent to the seal. It shows what the label how the label was inscribed by the individuals at the recovery scene.
So that's not your writing, that's the condition it was received in?
Yes.
Okay. And you testified earlier that these items come in sealed, is that correct?
Yes.
Does that display the seal that you were referring to?
Yes.
Okay. And with respect to this, you indicated there were 4 portions of the physical body. Would this have been one portion?
Yes.
I'm now going to slide 103. That is State's Exhibit.
1.28.
And what is depicted there?
This is the photograph of basically the seal and the label put on the body bag, the closed body bag. It's when a body bag has 2 zippers, and when you open the body bag, you spread the zippers out, and when you close it, you bring the zippers together. So the zippers are together here, and the seal and the label are through those 2 zippers, and it shows how the label was. The handwritten label there was labeled by the individuals at the body recovery scene.
Okay. And I'm now turning your attention to slide number 106. And what exhibit number is that for you?
This is 1.29.
And what is depicted there?
This is the torso of the decedent. It has the chest and abdomen, the very upper portions of the thighs, and it's got the arms. And it's discolored because covered in mud, and then the handbags have been placed around the hands, which is a routine procedure done in potential foul play cases to preserve evidence that might be present there.
Okay. And what kind of bags did you say those were?
Those are brown paper bags, but we call them evidence bags.
Is there a reason that they're paper?
Yes, plastic. If you have plastic bags, can result in degrading of some of the underlying evidence. So paper is used.
Okay. And this body does not appear to have clothing, is that correct?
That's correct.
Is that the condition it was received in?
Yes.
So it was fully naked?
Yes.
Okay. From looking at this photograph, were you at least able to tell the gender of the individual that was recovered?
Yes.
And that's why you indicated female?
Yes.
I'm now turning to slide 107, which on your exhibit would be what number?
This is 1.30.
Okay. And what does this demonstrate?
This is the other leg, basically the bag that the other leg was received in, and it's similarly labeled. You can see the handwritten label there was prepared by the individuals, the investigators at the body recovery scene.
And if a body comes into the medical examiner's office as an entire person, how many body bags would that come in?
One.
And would there be just one seal?
Yes.
So when there's more than one piece and more than one bag, do you document each of the individual seals?
Yes.
Why do you do that?
Because each piece came in separately, so we will document each piece of evidence, each evidence that we received, just to show how it was received for each part.
I'm now turning your attention to slide 109. Can you tell us what exhibit number that is?
Yeah, this is 1.31.
And what is depicted here?
This is the left leg of the decedent.
And
I'm
was
glad
there
they're
anything
not
of
showing
note
it.
when you received the left leg?
Yes. Yeah, there are numerous fly larvae known as maggots on the leg and around in the body bag with the leg. There's discoloration, largely related to likely fly larva activity. And then at on the foot, near the end of the foot where the toes are, there's loss of tissue there that appears to be what we call postmortem animal predation, basically where if a body is left outside in an outdoor location, especially in a wooded location, animals can come and will often come and eat portion of the body. So that appears to be postmortem animal predation, where after the death, an animal has come and eaten a portion of the foot.
So as part of your investigation, is it your responsibility to determine what may have caused each of the individual deformities to the body?
Yes.
So even if they're not potentially criminal, you would still document that?
We may. It depends on the case, but yes, we often do.
Okay. And in this case, did you?
Yes.
Okay. So the top of the limb, can you tell the jury, was there anything of significance with respect to the top of the limb?
Yes. At the top, the leg appears to have been. The leg has been cut from the body. There's areas where the skin surface at the skin edge is smooth, consistent with having been cut with a sharp object, and then the bone, the thigh portion of the majority of the thigh bone is present in the leg, but the thigh bone, the femur, has been cut there, and so there's the cut end of the femur that's you can see in this photograph.
And can you tell us, doctor, is there anything significant about the femur, specifically in terms of bones in the human body? What's distinctive about it?
The femur, I guess what would be distinctive about it is the biggest bone, the longest bone.
I mean, it keeps us upright, correct?
Yes.
And so would it be fair to say that somebody would not be able to obviously stand without their femur intact, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And
Obviously.
in this case, you said the femur was cut through?
Yes, it was.
I'm now going to turn your attention to the next photograph. That would be 110. What exhibit number is that for you?
This is 1.32.
Thank you. And what is depicted here?
This is a label, another label for a body bag. And the inscription indicates leg found in the woods of McIntosh County.
Okay, so would this be the other leg in connection with this case?
Yes.
And does this also reflect the manner in which you documented?
Yes.
I'm now drawing your attention to slide 111. Can you tell us what the exhibit number is?
Yeah, this is exhibit 1.33.
And what is depicted here?
This is the other leg. This would be the right leg.
Was there anything that you were able to make as observations with respect to the portion at the top of the thigh?
Similar to the previous leg. The majority of the femur, the thigh bone, is present, but the upper part of the thigh bone has been cut across. There's similar to the other leg, and similar to all the amputation margins. There's decomposition. There's more advanced decomposition right at the margin of where the amputation has occurred. So there's discoloration there that's a result of postmortem decomposition, and there's fly larvae on the body here on this leg as well.
Can you explain to the jury how decomposition perhaps looks different at different portions of this leg, why that would be?
Yeah, the decomposition is more advanced at the place where the amputation was. It may be that there's more. It's a more suitable environment for fly larvae to attack, and also it may be less resistant to the changes of decomposition in the skin. The skin may be a little bit more resistant than exposed other tissue. You can see there's discoloration on the other part of the leg, likely related to fly larval activity, but the exposed tissue is more affected.
Your Honor, may we approach?
Seems like we're about to get into some of the gruesome details of what was going on with this body. Let me know what y'all think about the medical examiner so far. We still haven't gotten to the torso and the head. I'm sure he's going to talk about some of the damages to the back of her head. It was mentioned by some of the investigators before. We'll see what they have to say here. Let me know what y'all think in the comments. Oh man, this is getting crazy. Shout out to Kara in the building. Kara Hampton, get them 5 memberships. We're going to keep it moving here in a second, but I got to say thank you to y'all. Thank you to all 1,300 of you that liked the video too. My goodness. If you got a membership from Kara, make sure you say thank you. All right, we've also got just saying with Alicia's in the building. Says thank you, ClassE, for streaming the Kassotis trial. Because really, who needs Netflix when this trial is serving up all the dirty details in forensic tea? Yeah. The way the medical examiner is breaking down what happened to the remains is just tough to listen to. Let's keep it going. Let's hear what else the medical examiner was observing about Mindy's body here. Wow. All right, let's skip ahead. Here we go.
Last slide that we just looked at. Can you pass me that for, may I, Your Honor?
Yes.
For just a moment.
Yes.
And
I
can you
can't wait
tell
to
us
hear
what
how they
that
defend
exhibit
this.
number is?
1.33.
And can I approach?
Yes.
Thank you, sir.
Wow.
If I can simply clarify for the record, counsel has pointed out to the state that it appears I have inadvertently marked 2 exhibits 1.31. So the first one will be exhibit 1.31A, refers to slide 101, and 1.31B refers to slide 109.
Thank you.
Thank you, counsel.
Very well.
So as we progress through these, we were at slide 111, and we're now moving on to the next slide. That would be slide 120. What exhibit number is that for you, sir?
This is 1.34.
Okay. And can you tell the jury what, if anything, is depicted in that photograph of note to you?
Yeah, this is the end of one of the femurs, and this basically shows where it's cut. So you can see where the bone has been cut, and it's there's yes. So that's what we're showing here.
And was it physically cut all the way through? It's been completely cut all the way through, but there are portions where the bone appears to have been or has been cut, but at that point wasn't cut all the way through. But obviously it's not attached to the other part, so it's been cut through finally. But yes, there's a portion there where you can see it's been cut only partially. Okay. So did you have an opportunity to weigh the different items that were received at the laboratory?
Yes.
Okay. And is that customary practice when you perform an autopsy?
Yes. Yeah. Typically, we measure the body, basically determine the body length, which is equivalent to the height, and the weight. We determine the weight.
Okay. And so, were you able to determine the height and weight of each of the portions of the remains?
Yeah, we weighed each portion, and then we approximated. We put the pieces together and approximated what an overall body length or height would be.
Okay. And is that documented in your report?
Yes.
Okay. And with respect to that next photograph, that would be photograph 132. What exhibit number is that for you?
1.35.
And that photograph, what's depicted there?
Yeah, this is the decedent's torso and arms. That specimen, and now we've cleaned it up. So we've cleaned the mud off of it, and so now we can see the body surface.
The torso.
And
Jeez.
did you notice any defects to the body that are depicted in this image?
Yes.
Can you describe them for the jury?
Yes. So there's the defects that we've talked about where the legs were removed. So at the very upper part of both thighs are present, but then there's a large defect where the rest of the legs have been cut from the body, where the body's been dismembered. The same thing at the top in the head, where you can see there's a portion of the spine that's protruding up into the neck. It's the lower portion of the lower fused vertebrae that correspond to the neck, cervical vertebrae, remain there with very little soft tissue left around it. And then there's a defect around that area. That defect extends into the chest cavities, basically the cavities on the right and left sides of the chest, where the right lung and the left lung are located, and the pericardial sac, where the heart is located. So the defect extends down into there. Normally, these cavities are not exposed. They're covered with skin and subcutaneous tissue, muscle, and bony structures. But in this case, though the bony structures are intact, the soft tissue is not. So the defect up at the top, at the base of the neck there, extends down into the chest cavity and is associated with a loss of tissue. The upper portion of the heart and significant portions of the lung are absent, and appears to be the result of animal predation, where animals have gotten into the body and have taken and presumably eaten portions of the heart and the lungs, and then other of the organs in that area, including the upper part of the esophagus.
With respect to the esophagus and the portion of the neck that is no longer present that you described, did that make this complicated for you in any way in terms of some of your conclusions?
Yes.
Can you tell the jury why and how?
Well, in part to evaluate the ideal is to evaluate the entire body to assess whatever findings might be there, injuries or otherwise. If parts of the bodies are missing, then obviously we can't evaluate those. And if there's the body's been damaged, presumably, say with the cuts to remove the legs and the head, there's damage that's made in those areas. So if there was findings in those areas, injuries or otherwise, it may obscure those and make it difficult or impossible for me to identify those.
Can you tell the jury what asphyxia is?
Yeah, asphyxia is a condition whereby it's a condition whereby oxygen is prevented from getting to the tissues. Our body tissues need certain things, certain nutrients, and one of the things our body tissue needs is oxygen. So when we breathe in oxygen into our lungs. Oxygen, our lungs take the oxygen out of the air, put it in the blood, and then the blood's pumped around to the body and provides that oxygen to the tissue. So if there's some process that interferes with oxygen being delivered to the tissues, that's asphyxia.
And so what is a manner in which an individual can manually be prohibited from receiving oxygen?
Well, one way would be smothering. For example, if a person covers up the airway, the nose and mouth of somebody with something that prevents them be able to breathe, that would prevent oxygen from getting into the lungs. That would be one form of asphyxia. Another form would be a neck compression or strangulation. When a neck is compressed in a significant way, and something that we call strangulation, the typical mechanism of injury there is the blood vessels that supply blood to the brain. Those are blocked. So normally the heart pumps blood around to the body, including blood up through the neck into the head.
It's amazing you can see all that.
Neck blood vessels are compressed in a significant way. That can prevent an adequate amount of blood and oxygen from getting to the brain, and that's a form of asphyxia as well.
If you don't have the neck, how does that impact your ability to render a determination if strangulation was present?
Yeah, we're really, if you don't have a neck, there's no way to evaluate injuries in the neck. That's one of the things you look for to evaluate strangulation. You look for injuries in the neck, either on the outside of the neck or on the skin surface and on the inside of the neck. You may get bruising internally, and you may get fractures of some of the structures in the neck, such as the hyoid bone, which is a U-shaped bone in the upper part of the neck, or the larynx, basically the voice box.
So with those being missing, did that make this more difficult for you?
Yes, that would make it more difficult. Now, at this point of the autopsy, those structures were missing. When we recovered the head with a portion of the neck, some of those structures were present. For example, the hyoid bone was present, and a portion of the larynx was present.
But the skin, was that present?
No.
Okay.
At least a portion of it wasn't.
Okay. Were there any other visible defects on the face or front of the body depicted?
Yes.
And what are those?
There are injuries that appear to be what we refer to as sharp force injuries caused by a sharp object. And there are two superficial such injuries on the right upper chest. The most prominent one is on the inner aspect of the right breast, the vertical linear, several inches in length there on the breast. There's a number of small injuries that look like cuts in the region of the right upper chest as well that you can't see very well in this photograph. And then on the abdomen near the belly button region, there are three areas of defects that are in the skin and soft tissue that appear to represent injuries caused by a sharp object.
And then what about the right upper arm? Can you tell us what you observed?
Yes. In the right upper arm, there's a defect in the skin, and there's a large amount of tissue loss there. So there's a significant amount of decomposition here. There's tissue loss, so there may have been animal predation there. There may have been an animal that came in and ate some of the tissue. The bone there, the upper arm bone, the humerus, is exposed, and there on the surface of the bone there are numerous parallel, horizontal, linear cuts in the bone, but they're superficial. They look like there was an attempt to cut the humerus, but then it appears that the attempt to cut the humerus was ceased.
I'm now turning to slide 139. What is that exhibit number for you?
Yeah, this is exhibit 1.36.
Thank you. Can you tell the jury what you see here?
Yeah, so this is the back of the right hand and the right forearm. And on the hand, close to the wrist, there's an area of discoloration that represents bruising. And then on the forearm, you can see two areas of discoloration that also represent bruising. So this is a bruise or a contusion, which is basically an area of bleeding in the tissue caused by impact with a blunt object or surface.
Can you explain to the jury what the phrase defensive wounds means?
Yes. So a defensive wound is a wound that you would receive that you might receive when you're being attacked by someone. If someone is attacking you and striking you with an object, it's what your natural tendency to do is to put your arms up to try to block. And so what may happen if you do block, the blows, you'll get injuries on the arm. And so injuries, they're often on the back of the hand and on the back of the forearm, and those are called defensive injuries.
And is it possible that they are potentially also decomposition, meaning that you sometimes see bruising that isn't a defensive wound?
Yeah, so sometimes we'll, as a result of the decomposition process, there may be discoloration of the body that mimics bruising. So sometimes it can be difficult to tell if an area of discoloration represents decomposition or if it represents true bruising.
So what do you do to determine which one it is?
So one of the common things we do is we'll cut into it, because a lot of times if it's decomposition, it will be superficial and it will be involving the skin. If it's bruising, you'll see more typically you'll see more the bruising and the tissue, not just on the skin surface, but underneath the skin. So cutting into the area of discoloration can be very helpful to determine if it's a bruise or if it's decomposition.
Is that routinely part of your autopsy to make those determinations?
Yes, we often do that.
Okay. And in this case, did you find areas that were both bruising as well as potentially decomposition?
Yes.
I'm now going to turn you to slide number 144. Slide number 144. What exhibit number is that for you?
Yeah, this is 1.37.
Thank you. What is depicted in this image?
Yeah, so this is what we were just talking about. This is the right upper arm. There's loss of tissue. A large amount of tissue is lost because you can see the bone there. That white structure there with the dark lines is the bone, and those dark lines, those parallel lines, those represent cuts, superficial cuts into the bone, where it appears there was an attempt to cut that bone, but not a successful attempt. And there's discoloration of the tissue in this area too. This discoloration is similar to the discoloration seen at all the amputation margins. It's related to postmortem decomposition.
Now at slide 145, what exhibit number is that for you?
This is 1.38.
Would it be fair to say that that's simply a close-up of those cut marks?
Yes.
And you indicated what was the nature of those marks? Were they, I believe you said lateral? Is that what you said?
They're horizontal.
Horizontal, my apologies. Okay. And can you tell us anything about the humerus, similarly to as you described the femur? Is there anything distinctive about the humerus? Yeah,
with the humerus, it's sort of the corresponding bone in the arm to the thigh bone in the leg. It's a single long bone in the upper part of the arm, similar to the femur is a single long bone present in the upper part of the leg. And they're fairly thick bones, especially the femur, because as you mentioned, it has to bear the weight of the individual.
Mm-hmm.
I'm now going to slide number 152. What exhibit number is that for you?
This is 1.39.
And can you advise the jury what you observed on the left arm?
Yeah, on the left arm, what's most visible here are two areas of discoloration, one near the wrist and on the forearm, and one a little more towards the middle of the forearm. Those represent abrasions. Abrasion is basically a scrape injury, so it's caused by impact with the body and impact with a blunt object or surface that causes a scraping of the superficial layer of skin off. So it's basically like if you fall down on the pavement and skin your knee, that's an abrasion. So that's what these two are. They're abrasions that are visible here. In addition, on the back of the hand, near the wrist, there's an area of discoloration that's suggestive of a bruise, but not clearly a bruise. And then on the back of the forearm, sort of in the middle of the forearm, not very visible in this photograph, there is a small bruise.
I'm now going to slide 153. What exhibit number is that for you?
This is exhibit 1.40.
Can you describe what is the condition observed on the left hand?
Yes, it's what we call a washerwoman hand. It's basically, you can kind of see it here. You can see it better if you look at the palm side of the hand, but it's basically where the skin of the hands and feet will get wrinkly if they're exposed to water for a period of time.
So if you stay in the bath too long, for example?
Yes.
Okay. I'm now going to show you the next slide. That would be 156. What exhibit number is that for you?
This is 1.41.
Okay. And can you tell the jury what you see here?
Yeah, this is the palm of the left hand, and you can see better in this photograph the washerwoman change.
Okay. What impact does washerwoman syndrome have with respect to taking fingerprints?
It can theoretically make it more technically challenging, but if all you have is washerwoman change, we should be able to take fingerprints with proper techniques.
What do you do? What's the technique?
Oh, yeah, that'd be a better question for the impressions latent print section of the lab to answer.
So you don't do that yourself in the autopsy?
I don't.
Okay. So you would just document it and potentially make it available? Meaning, do you try to do prints anyway?
We do in our lab. We'll take we do some fingerprints in our lab. If they're difficult, traditionally we've used latent prints. Now in the Savannah area lab where this autopsy took place, they don't have access to a latent prints department, so they do the fingerprints there, and they have they're used to taking fingerprints in difficult cases, so they are knowledgeable about techniques. Some of the DIS there, our autopsy assistants there. I'm personally not, but they are.
Okay. And so, as a general rule, you do take autopsy prints, even if they're not, I hate to say, effective. I don't mean to be disrespectful.
We do in certain cases. We don't fingerprint every case. There are certain types of cases that we will perform fingerprints on.
Okay. Now, I'm directing your attention to the next slide, being 158. What exhibit is that for you?
This is 1.42.
And what is depicted here?
Yeah, this is a discoloration. This is the left upper arm. So you can see the elbow on the right side of the screen, and then the underarm region, right where they've got the L-shaped ruler, that's where the underarm region is. So we're really looking at the upper arm corresponding to the humerus, like we were just talking about. And there's discoloration there on the front of the arm that appears to be a postmortem change. It's not nothing that I could identify as an injury.
So in this particular body's evaluation, you did see items that you were able to clearly say that's not an injury, but rather decomposition or some change due to death?
Yes.
Okay. And does this represent that?
It appears to, yes.
I'm going to now turn you to the next slide. This is 167. What exhibit is that for you?
This is 1.43.
And what is depicted here?
So there are three defects here that look like they were probably caused by something sharp or fairly sharp. Three defects this is the front of the abdomen, basically near the belly button. You can see right in the middle of the screen there's the belly button, very close to the middle of these defects.
Those are 167. I'm now moving on to slide 174. Is that what exhibit for you?
1.44.
And are those, again, the right humerus with the cuts at a much closer view?
Yes.
I'm now going to slide 184. What exhibit number is that for you?
1.45.
And what is displayed here?
So this is one of the femur bones, one of the ends of the femur bones. So this is where the femur bone was cut, basically the cut end. And you can see there's a place where there's a fairly smooth cut in the bone that goes through much of the thickness of the bone, but not all of the way.
And is that the condition you received the body in?
Yes.
And what did you do with respect to the femur sites during the course of your autopsy?
So we removed the ends of the femurs where they had been cut. We removed the ends and submitted them as evidence so that there could be the potential for evaluation of these cut ends in case it may be useful to know what kind of weapon or what kind of tool might have been used to make the cuts.
Without being graphic, doctor, I'm going to show on myself. So both of the legs were severed, correct?
Yes.
So would it be fair to say that the two portions from the lower portion of the thigh and then the two portions from the upper portion of the thigh, all four of them were cut by your office and turned over to the tool mark section?
Yes.
Okay. So did that preserve then each of the cuts that were performed prior to your receipt and then given to them for examination?
Yes.
And of course, did you mark where your cut was so it was clear?
Yes.
Okay. And I presume you don't do tool mark examination, correct?
That's correct.
I'm now showing you slide 186. What exhibit number is that for you?
This is 1.46.
And can you tell the jury what defects you see on the upper left portion of her back?
Yeah, there's a superficial cut on the left upper back in the shoulder region.
So that was an actual cut.
Yes.
I'm now at slide 189. Can you tell us what exhibit number that is?
At 1.47.
What is displayed here?
So what we've done is we've placed the legs together with the torso just to reapproximate how the body would have been had the legs
that's brutal, man.
not been amputated.
And are you able to now see some of the locations where you cut into the bruising or decomposition to make those assessments?
Yes, you can in this photograph, yes.
And where are those incisions?
You can see on the left arm, you can see on the right arm.
Can you also see on the neck area now, perhaps better in this photograph, where the neckline has receded?
Yeah, I'm not sure if you can. I'm not sure if it's better vantage point in this photograph or not.
Okay. What is that that's sticking out from the neck area?
That's the spine. Those are the lower cervical spinal the vertebrae, the bones of the spine that correspond to the lower part of the neck.
So if her body had been intact, would that not then
That's
have
tough.
had all of the skin up to her chin, essentially?
Yes.
Is that present in that last photograph? That skin?
No, that's absent there.
Okay. I'm now directing your attention to December 9th of 2022. Did you conduct a second portion of the autopsy in this case?
Yes.
What did you perform the autopsy on that date?
I'm sorry.
What portion of her remains did you perform the autopsy on that date?
Oh yeah, the head and then the upper portion of the neck that remain attached to the head.
What is depicted in slide 191? And what exhibit number is that? My apologies.
Yeah, this is exhibit number 1.48, and this is a placard. It basically shows the same things that we saw in the previous placard, except the date is different. The date is now lists December the 9th, 2022.
And presumably, if you had all of these pieces on the same day, would you perform the autopsy simultaneously?
Yes.
Did you have them all on the same day?
No.
Is that why there's a lapse in time?
Yes.
When you received the head, was that received separately?
Yes.
And was that also received in a sealed condition?
Yeah, he's just talking about it piece by piece.
If you need to refresh your recollection, just let us know. Do you need to, sir?
I'm looking at my notes. Yeah, I've got that. It was received in a body bag with a tag indicating an unidentified body from Liberty County.
Okay. And on December 9th, would this placard have been made by whom?
By the staff at the Coastal Medical Examiner's Office.
Did they assist you?
Yes.
Okay. I assume you don't make your own plaques normally.
No, not normally.
Okay. I'm now directing your attention to slide 192. Can you tell us what exhibit number that is?
You're right, Slim Life. It doesn't make sense.
Yes, this is State's Exhibit 1.49.
Okay. And states 1.49, what's depicted there?
Yes, so this is the body bag. Again, the zippers are closed. You can see the seal here, the red seal, and then you can see the handwritten labels on the attached to the zipper, attached to the zippers of the closed body bag.
Directing your attention to slide 194, what exhibit number is that?
Imagine having to put them
1.50.
back together.
What's depicted here?
This is the deceased's head, and so you can see on the left side of there's her hair, and then on the right side her face. It's a little hard to make out because her face is covered in mud, so it's a dark color similar to the color of the hair.
It's disgusting, man.
Now turning you to slide 195, what exhibit number is that?
1.51.
What vantage point does this provide?
This is the face. So we're looking at her face, and you can see it's still discolored with dark. It's got mud on it.
Can you tell anything about her eyes?
Well, her left eye, you can see the surface of her left eye, and the cornea appears clouded, which is change that occurs as a part of postmortem decomposition.
Can you explain to the jury what happens, if anything, with respect to eye color during decomposition?
Well, eye color after death can change, and so it's not necessarily a reliable indicator of the color of the eyes during life. And with decomposition, you can get clouding of the corneas, so so you may not be able to identify at all the color of the eyes.
Did there come a time when you cleaned off?
Yeah, awful is
Her
an
face and
understatement.
head.
Yes.
I'm going to direct your attention to the next slide, slide number 196. What exhibit number is that for you?
This is 1.52.
What, if anything, did you observe about her face?
Yeah, there's discoloration on the face. The discoloration on the face in various areas is consistent with change of postmortem decomposition. She did have some discoloration in her eyes, in the white portion of her eyes, the sclera. It was unclear to me if that discoloration was related to decomposition or was related to trauma.
I'm directing your attention now to slide 203. What exhibit number is that for you?
This is 1.53.
What's depicted on the right part of her face?
Yeah, so there's two defects in the scalp. We've pulled the scalp back. This is the very forward part of the scalp, so very close to the forehead. It looks like the forehead here, but we've pulled the scalp away so that the injuries are visible, and you can see these two defects in the skin there. These are two of a total of 9 similar appearing defects that are present on the scalp, including here on the right frontal area, also on the top of the scalp on the left side and near the midline, and on the back of the scalp. These appear to be lacerations. The decomposition makes it a little challenging to sometimes distinguish between incisions and lacerations. Incisions are defects caused by a sharp object. Lacerations are defects caused by a non-sharp object, a blunt object. These appear to be most likely laceration. There's a little bit of irregularity associated with it, and in some of these there is tissue bridging when we look in the depth. That's a feature that we see in lacerations, but not in incisions. So this appears to be 2 of 9 lacerations that are present on the scalp. And there's discoloration here that represents contusion. It's not clear from the external examination that it's contusion, but when we opened the head and reflected the scalp, looked at the undersurface of the scalp, it was clear that there was a significant amount of contusion or bruising in the area where these lacerations were located.
Would that be consistent with being struck?
Yes.
Yeah.
And you said a laceration was blunt as opposed to a cut, correct?
Yes.
I'm looking at slide 204. Is that the, what exhibit?
Exhibit 1.54.
And would that be the closer version of what you just described?
Yes.
Is that how you were able to see the irregularity you just described? Meaning
Yes.
not from a cut versus a laceration.
Yes.
I'm now looking at slide 206. Can you tell us what exhibit number?
Yeah, this is 1.55.
And was there any observations to the left side of her face or skull?
Yeah, there's discoloration. There's some discoloration here on the left side of the face, including in the left forehead. I could not identify these to be injuries. These areas of discoloration are consistent with change of postmortem decomposition.
And I'm now at slide number 207. What exhibit number?
1.56.
Would that be the area that you indicated was decomposition, not an actual injury?
It did. Yes, it did appear to be postmortem decomposition.
I'm looking now at slide number 225. Can you tell us what exhibit number?
1.57.
What is depicted here?
So this is the scalp, and what we've done is we've removed all the scalp hair so that we can better evaluate the scalp surface and see what injuries may be present. And you can see we're looking at sort of the back of the head, really. The top of the head is towards the right side of the screen. The sort of the top of the neck is on the left side of the screen, and the right ear is at the bottom of the screen. The left ear is at the top of the screen. So you can see over the left side of the scalp and midline scalp, there's multiple lacerations. These are similar in appearance to the 2 that we saw on the right forehead. So a total of 9, and these here you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in this photograph. Some of these lacerations were full thickness, meaning they went all the way through the scalp to the underlying skull, and some of them were partial thickness.
Was there any damage to the skull itself that you were able to observe at any point during the autopsy?
One of the laceration on the back of the one that's the farthest on the
happened
left,
before she was
shown here in the photograph.
dead?
That one, there was
Do we
a
know?
1/4 inch defect in the surface of the skull that was consistent with a skull fracture.
I'm now looking at the slide that is labeled X-ray 2. What exhibit number is that for you?
This is exhibit 1.58.
Would it be fair to say that this is an X-ray?
Yes.
Does this demonstrate anything with respect to the femurs?
Yes.
What does it show?
Yeah, you can see with the proximal part of the femurs, the upper part of the femurs are present and go into the hip socket like femurs normally do, but you can see where they've been cut only a short distance from the hip joint.
And how is the hip joint kept in place? Meaning, is there tissue that keeps it in place? Is
Yes.
it
Thanks,
is it
Steph.
bone that keeps it in place? How does your leg stay attached?
Yeah, it's the whole joint apparatus with cartilage and soft tissue and bone all together that holds it in place.
And so would it be fair to say that you could cut through the tissue without cutting through the bone to remove the leg? Mm-hmm. And what I mean by that is the bone itself doesn't have to be cut, does it?
That's correct. You could potentially remove the leg without cutting through the femur.
I'm now showing you X-ray number 3. What exhibit is that for you?
Like if you were using a deer processing kit?
It is 1.59.
And which leg does this display? Is it clear or is that not clear?
It's not. It appears to be the right leg.
Okay.
Yes, based on the R in the top left-hand corner of the X-ray.
Okay. And X-ray number 4, the next slide, what exhibit is that?
This is 1.6.
She was worth 35 million.
And what is depicted here?
And this
Wow.
this is one of the legs.
Is that an X-ray also?
Yes.
Does that show the distal or the lower portion of both of the leg X-rays where the femur is?
I'm sorry. Can you repeat?
Does that, what part of the femur does that show?
Yeah. So the part of the femur here is most of the femur, but the very upper part of the femur is absent because it's been severed.
And with respect to X-ray 5, what's depicted in, what exhibit rather is that for you first?
1.61.
Okay, and what is depicted here?
And this is an X-ray of the head and the upper portion of the neck.
You can, Madam Clerk, can you turn that off, please?
Wow.
Thank you. Doctor, so those images, would it be fair to say that those were images all that you took in connection with performing your autopsy?
Yeah. All of these photographs that we've looked at today were some of the photographs that were taken during the autopsy.
Yeah, you took some.
Okay.
Absolutely.
We'll take a short break. Go ahead.
Okay, so now they're going to get into the photographs of the autopsy and talk about what was shown there. We should have cross-examination coming up. Guys, this was brutal, man. To hear how this body was dismembered and what he was able to see happen to the skull. I want to know if the injuries happened before or after she was dead. I wonder if they're able to show that or if they're able to see that from their observations. Let me know what y'all think in the comments. Wow, we got to take another second and shout out a couple super chats and we'll keep it going. This is brutal, man. I could never be a medical examiner. I mean, I've worked with cadavers before. But this is just some next level stuff. Shout out to Steph and Callie in here with the 5 bombs showing love. Says, have a great day, everyone. Thank you, Steph and Callie. I appreciate you. And thank you for stopping by and showing support. All right, let's go ahead and get back into it. We'll see what's going on with this break. And then I guess we'll hear cross-examination coming up next. Doug is over there getting locked and loaded.
I'm sorry, can you repeat?
Does that, what part of the femur is?
Yes.
What is,
This is 1.60.
and what is depicted here?
And this is one of the legs.
Is that an X-ray also?
Yes.
Does that show the distal or the lower portion of both of the leg X-rays where the femur is?
I'm sorry, can you repeat?
Does that, what part of the femur does that show?
Yeah, so the part of the femur here is most of the femur, but the very upper part of the femur is absent because it's been severed.
And with respect to X-ray 5, what's depicted in, what exhibit rather is that for you first?
1.61.
Okay, and what is depicted here?
And this is an X-ray of the head and the upper portion of the neck.
You can, Madam Clerk, can you turn that off, please? Thank you. Doctor, so those images, would it be fair to say that those were images all that you took in connection with performing your autopsy?
Yeah, all of these photographs that we've looked at today were some of the photographs that were taken during the autopsy.
Yeah.
All right, let's skip ahead here. And then they
Occurs
took a
during
break.
life.
There we go.
Antemortem injury.
Antemortem injury is an injury that occurs during life while someone is alive. A postmortem injury is an injury that occurs after they had already died.
Are you able to distinguish between postmortem and antemortem injuries?
Often, but not always.
Okay. Were you able to determine in this case whether or not the dismemberment was antemortem or postmortem?
Not definitively from the autopsy alone, but it's presumed that a situation like this, that the dismemberment is very likely postmortem as a result of
There you go.
trying to make the body more easy to hide and dispose of.
Okay. And in a dismemberment, specifically in the area, and I'm going to.
I'm surprised
approach
Doug
somewhat,
didn't object to that.
Where it involves the femur.
That was
Are there any
kinda
particular
somewhat speculative.
vessels or veins in the body that are relevant in the area surrounding the femur?
Yes.
What are those?
Yeah, so there's large blood vessels that carry blood basically from the heart. You have blood vessels that go out to all parts of the body to carry blood to all the tissue in the body. And there's large blood vessels in both the arms and the legs, larger in the legs than in the arm. The leg is larger than the arms. But they're large blood vessels that travel down the leg to provide blood. And they also have blood vessels that bring blood back the other way. Arteries
Yeah, I would
carry
never let
blood
him-
away from the
a
heart to the
witness say
tissues.
that.
Veins are blood vessels that carry blood from the tissues back to the heart. So there are large blood vessels in the upper parts of the thighs, the femoral artery and the femoral vein, and in the arms as well, in the shoulder region, the brachial artery and brachial vein.
And those arteries that you're describing, both in the legs, are there any in the neck?
Yes.
Any particular arteries that would be relevant in terms of large amounts of blood coursing through that area?
Yes, yeah. The largest blood vessels that go to and from the neck are the carotid arteries and the jugular veins.
And if any of those were to be severed, meaning the femoral or the carotid or any of those that you've just described as, quote, the larger vessels, what would the effect of that be to the blood within them?
Yeah, well, if a person's alive, when you cut those vessels, there'll be a very large amount of bleeding
Okay.
from those vessels.
And if a person is dead, how does that impact it?
You would have less bleeding for sure because you don't have an active blood pressure. You know, when you're alive, you have a heart pumping blood all around the body, and there's active blood pressure. When the person has died, then there's no blood being pumped around. So now any movement of the blood in the vessels draining out or whatnot will be via gravity.
So gravity does still apply, though, correct?
Yes.
So, for example, if I were to lift physically a
What
limb
happened
that had
after
been
she
severed,
was-
would
the
blood
head injury
potentially
was
come out
after
of
she
the
died.
artery, even if they were not still alive?
I would expect so, yes.
Okay. What about a torso with two legs removed? Would
Yes.
that bleed?
I would expect so, yes.
Even if the bleeding was in the form of potentially gravity, correct?
Yes.
Okay. How much blood is there in the human body?
For an average sized person, about 5 liters.
And if you're
was doing
bigger,
that.
for lack of a nice way to phrase that, would there be more blood?
Yes.
Okay, so 5 liters approximately. Can you tell us what that means in
I don't know why I thought it
America
was
standard?
3.5.
Yeah, so a liter is about a quart. So 5 liters would be approximately, a liter is approximately a quart. So 5 liters would be approximately 5 quarts.
Okay, and how many quarts make a gallon?
4 quarts.
Okay, so we're talking about just
SFCP.
over a gallon of blood. Correct me if I'm wrong, or a gallon and a quart.
Yes,
It's
approximately.
a lot.
And so if a person were to be dismembered and moved, you would still expect to potentially see blood that had been drained from the body due to gravity.
Yes.
Is it possible to interfere with that blood being observed, perhaps in the form of TARPs or some other mechanism?
Yes.
And do you have any way of knowing when you look at a body when the blood left the body? What I mean is when you get a body at autopsy in the condition you received it in, do you have any idea when the blood left the body?
No, I mean, what I could say is I can say that the lacerations to the scalp were sustained when the decedent was alive, and I would expect a significant amount of bleeding from those wounds. As far as from post-mortem cutting of the body, could you repeat the question?
What I'm simply trying to ask is there a timestamp basically on when the blood may have left her person?
Yeah, if you're asking, do I know at what point after she passed away were her limbs severed and blood drained from the body? I don't know.
Okay.
that
do you
was
have
my
any
question,
idea
too.
when she died? Exactly.
Well, I can't, from the autopsy, I can't state specifically when she died. I would use usually investigative means are the most accurate way of determining when a person died. So in this case, I would use investigative means, including in this case a forensic entomologist was used. I would use that information along with investigation of the case.
Okay. So there are lots of TV shows nowadays that have doctors constantly being asked, when did she die? Can you tell this jury within a 2-hour window when she passed away?
No.
And with respect to her body, did you collect any samples? We talked about those bloodstain cards, but did you take any samples to send off to toxicology?
Yes.
Okay. What did you send them, if you recall?
Yeah, they were, and I'll look at my autopsy report copy here. We sent
That's
left
interesting
chest
they
fluid,
didn't know
gastric
when she
contents,
died.
liver, spleen, and kidney.
Okay. And of those samples, you said gastric contents, liver, spleen, and kidney. Was the liver, spleen, and kidney tissue?
Yes, it was.
Did you send any actual blood,
No.
meaning live blood?
No.
When I say live, I mean liquid is what I'm referring to.
No, we were not able to.
Why not?
There wasn't, we weren't able to obtain enough blood to be able to send for toxicology testing.
Is that because you didn't have any?
Yeah, it's because, the blood that she had left was not accessible by us. There may have been small amounts in very small blood vessels, but in the larger blood vessels where we collect blood from, or we're able to collect blood from, we were unable to. The lower leg being cut would have resulted in all the blood draining out. That's one area we get blood from, the upper thigh and the pelvis region. And then we also obtain blood from around the heart, and due to animal predation, the upper part of the heart was missing in this case, so there was no significant amount of blood. We could get enough blood for blood cards, but we couldn't get enough blood to do any meaningful toxicology testing. That's usually our first choice sample to test is the blood.
So did you try?
We attempted to get blood, yes.
Okay. Can you tell the jury what the explanation or difference is between cause of death and manner of death?
Yeah, the cause of death is the very specific thing that results in the death, and there's many different types of causes of death. You can have traumatic causes of death such as gunshot wounds, stab wounds, strangulation, blunt force injuries. You can have natural disease causes of death like stroke, heart attack, hypertensive heart disease, cancer. So there's very many different types of causes of death.
Pills,
For manner of
potions, and
death,
poisons.
manner of death is a classification system that we have. And here in Georgia, we have
does.
5 options for manner of death. So the options are all deaths have to fall into one of these 5 categories, and these categories are: 1, a natural. Basically, if somebody dies as a result of a natural disease process, such as a heart attack or cancer, that's a natural death. Another choice we have is accident. So if a person dies under accidental circumstances, and common examples we see of accidental circumstances are people that die in car accidents and people that die from accidental drug overdoses, where they have a drug overdose but they weren't attempting to take their own life. Another choice we have is suicide. So if a person basically takes their own life by their own actions, then that's a suicide. The fourth choice we have is homicide. And homicide is basically death caused by the actions of another individual, usually where there's intent to injure. And then if we can't decide whether the death is natural, accident, suicide, or homicide, we have the option for calling it undetermined.
And
Wow.
in this case, were you able to determine a cause of death?
Yes.
And what was your determination?
Traumatic injuries?
And were you able to determine the manner of
Sounds
death?
about right.
Yes.
And what was that?
Homicide?
So by determining homicide, did you rule out the other 4 options you just described?
Yes.
Yeah, I don't think it would be suicide.
Now, doctor, during the course of your findings, did you determine whether or not the victim ever was identified?
Yes.
And did you ultimately determine if she had been?
Yes, she was identified.
Did you ultimately issue some secondary report concerning that?
Yes.
What does that mean? How do you do that?
Yeah, so in this case, it was determined primarily through DNA testing, the identity of the decedent. And then what we'll do is we'll put a report in our lab information system basically stating that the body has been identified and indicate who it is identified as.
Did you issue such a report in this case?
Yes, I believe so.
Okay. Now, at this time, Your Honor, I'm going to seek to introduce State's Exhibit 1.68. This would be a certified copy of the Georgia death certificate for Mindi Nevin Kassotis.
Any objection?
No objection.
All right, it's admitted.
And again, doctor, you don't do the DNA that made that determination, correct?
That's correct.
Now, you indicated at some point that you had tested and opened her body. Did you also happen to have an opportunity to examine her uterus?
Yes.
Did you determine if she was pregnant?
There's no evidence of pregnancy.
Oh,
And if she
okay.
had an estimated due date of January of 2023, and she was allegedly found on December 2nd of 2022, be fair to say that's very far along in the gestation period of a human being?
Yes.
Would you expect to find a fetus at that point?
Yes.
And did you find anything that would be indicative of the fact that she was pregnant at the time of her death?
No.
Interesting.
I have just one moment.
I think we might get
I have nothing further
cross-examination
on.
here.
Thank
Okay,
you. Cross-examination, Mr. Weinstein.
here we go.
Good afternoon, Dr. Lehman.
Good afternoon.
I know you've had a long day, so I won't keep you long. My name is Doug Weinstein. I'm Mr. Kassotis' lawyer in this case. I'd like to return for a moment to the lacerations on the scalp. You found 9 lacerations, correct?
Yes.
And those lacerations, you believe, were caused by a blunt object.
Yes.
She wasn't pregnant.
Do you have any idea how heavy that object would have been? Anything at all about the object other than that it's a blunt object?
Yes, it would have to be something with a significant amount of weight. It would have to be a heavy enough object of where if it impacted the head, it was had the potential to putting a defect in the scalp that goes to the full thickness of the scalp.
And the scalp is heavily vascularized, correct?
Yes.
And can you explain to the jury what vascularized means?
Yeah. So it means that there's a lot of blood vessels, a lot of blood flow that goes to the scalp.
So it happened after
if
she
you have a
died.
scalp injury, you're likely to potentially have a significant amount of bleeding, what appears to be a large amount of blood.
So
Appreciate
with a
you enlightening Laura.
single laceration to the scalp, one that does the extent of damage that you've described, you would expect to see a great amount of blood, correct?
Potentially, you could, yes.
What about with 2 lacerations?
You would expect even more.
And with 9?
Yeah, even more so. Yes, you'd expect. I would expect the scene where the incident occurred to be have more than a small amount of blood.
Okay. Thank you. I have no further questions.
Wow.
No.
Wait, I'm sorry. May I just
Yes, sir.
get court's indulgence?
Yes, sir.
He's conferring with his co-counsel.
No further questions. Thank you very much.
Can the doctor be excused?
No objection from the state.
All right, thank you, doctor. Safe travels.
There it is. Short, sweet, to the point. Medical examiner laying it out. I thought we were going to hear a little bit more detail. I do find it interesting. He doesn't know or can't determine when she died. Maybe that's just because the body, I guess, was just so in such bad shape. You've got the water, you've got the mud, you've got the dismemberment. Oh, Disgusting, man. Terrible stuff. Let me know what y'all think. How about that cross-examination? Short, sweet, to the point. I don't know what the defense is doing right now. I'm going to be honest. I know we've seen Doug Weinstein's work. We know he has a plan. And apparently, Nick is a pretty good attorney himself. We'll have to wait and see. Goodness gracious. Right? There's not enough blood, so it happened after she died. Why? I don't know. Let's go ahead and get into the coverage today. So we are going to fast forward here into day 3 and see who we've got on the stand right now. All right, so we'll go next witness, and hopefully y'all are ready to go. Shout out to everybody who's in here. I appreciate all 1,300 plus of you that liked the video. Thank y'all, thank y'all, thank y'all. Here we go. Let's keep going. We're going to get into it. See who we have up next in this Nick, as he's called, Kassotis trial. And let me unmute it as well.
All right, everyone, please be seated. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen of the jury.
Not sure why the judge's mic is
Hope
so.
you had a good evening. Appreciate you being here on time this morning. And I do want to ask, I trust that everyone was able to abide by the court's
Might have to turn this
instructions
up.
and avoid any exposure to media coverage. Any problems? No. Okay, all right. Thank you very much, and we'll get right to it. If the state would please call the next witness.
Your Honor, at this time, the state calls Michelle Shepard to the stand.
Yeah, this is rough, man.
Good morning.
Good morning.
If you would please raise your right hand.
Do you swear and affirm the testimony that you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Please be seated.
May I inquire, Your Honor? Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning.
I'm going to ask you just to try and stay close to the microphone. This courtroom has a tendency to eat up the sound. Can you please
Sound
tell the
seems a
court
little
reporter
bit
your
lower
full name and
today.
how you
Let me
spell
check
it?
this.
Sure. My name is Michelle Shepard. Michelle is spelled M-I-C-H-E-L-L-E. Shepard is S-H-E-P-H-E-R-D.
Can you tell the jury where you were working in December of 2022?
Yes, at the Georgia Bureau of Investigation, the Division of Forensic Sciences, otherwise known as the State Crime Lab, in the Coastal Lab in Pooler.
So you worked at the Coastal Lab?
I did.
Okay.
Shout out to
And
Pooler,
at
Georgia.
that laboratory, what was your title and what were your responsibilities?
I am and was a forensic DNA analyst and biologist.
And as a forensic DNA analyst and biologist, how long were you employed in that capacity as of December 22?
22 years.
Had you always had that same title?
Various titles with the state, but in the forensic biology section.
Okay. At some point, did you leave that position?
I did.
Why did you leave?
I left after 13 years at the headquarters lab up in Atlanta. I left to go to the private sector, still working in human identity to manage a forensic tech support and training team with a private vendor.
And so in total, how many years did you serve as a forensic
She's
biologist?
out here getting it.
38.
And are you currently working in that capacity?
I retired a year ago.
Okay. Can you tell us
Congratulations to her.
what educational background you were required to achieve to be able to perform that position?
Sure. I received my Bachelor of Science in Laboratory Technology from Auburn University. And while I was in school, I actually worked with the Alabama Crime Lab system. I
You think so, Amy? I think
received
it's
training upon my graduation once I started at the headquarters
Parkinson's.
lab with GBI. and received advanced DNA analysis methods training at the FBI Academy in Quantico. I do have graduate coursework through the University of Virginia and the University of Alabama at Birmingham.
Were you required when you became a member of the GBI to do any initial training prior to taking on your own individual casework?
Yes, ma'am.
And how long was that process?
Over a year and a half, probably.
We've heard testimony already about what peer review is.
Yes.
Is your work in the biology section also peer reviewed?
Yes, ma'am. In the forensic biology section, 100% of our results are technically and administratively peer reviewed.
And does that mean
There you
somebody
go.
analyzes the work you did to ensure that it's accurate?
Yes, if I can elaborate. It means that another qualified DNA analyst reviews all of my notes, all of my controls and standards and results, and ensures that they would come to the exact same conclusions that I did.
Can you describe for the jury what the responsibilities are of a forensic biologist or DNA analyst?
Certainly. We receive evidence from peace officers submitted from across the state of Georgia to generate or develop DNA profiles from that evidence from body fluids and stains of body fluids.
What types of body fluids do you examine in your position?
Primarily blood, semen, and saliva.
And are you able to also analyze substances other than just fluids?
Yes.
What else do you analyze?
Tissues, bones, organs.
Is that anything that potentially might have DNA?
Correct.
Okay. And sometimes, just to be clear, is DNA always in, meaning human form, meaning, I guess I'm trying to be clear on how I phrase this. You've mentioned a lot of things that are human body, organs, or tissue. Can you retrieve DNA from other substances that are not necessarily human?
Yes. All living things have DNA, so DNA stands for deoxyribonucleic acid. It's a chemical that's found in virtually every cell in the human body and in all living things.
And the crime laboratory, do they only handle human organisms?
Sometimes they're mixed with bacteria, which are living things, and other organisms. But the testing that we do is directed and specific for human and higher primates.
And are you
Higher
trained in the
primates.
handling and preservation of those biological samples?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you tell the jury what that process involves?
So DNA is a protein, so it is susceptible to the environment, UV light, sunlight, heat, humidity. Those things are detrimental to DNA and can start to break it down. So we always want to preserve the evidence that may contain DNA in a manner that will preserve whatever is already deposited.
And are you able to ensure that protocol is in place at the crime laboratory as well?
Yes.
And can you tell the jury how you do that within the crime laboratory?
So within the lab, once an item of evidence is submitted by a peace officer, our evidence tech staff will take that item out of a lockbox. It's like a locker that the officer deposits the evidence in sealed packaging, and then our evidence retrieval on the opposite side. They will open the package, describe it, and apply a unique crime lab case number, item number, and description into the computer, so that as that item of evidence moves throughout the lab, what we call a chain of custody is maintained, so that it's tracked and documented who had access to that item of evidence as it moves through the lab.
And in order to do that, do you oftentimes affix any information on a sample?
Yes, or the bag, the packaging containing that sample, there'll be a barcode, and as we transfer that evidence, we ourselves have identification tags that we scan that barcode and enter a PIN number, just like you would at an ATM, to track what individual had access to that item, or if we're placing it in a vault or an evidence locker, those have barcodes as well.
Now, can you explain to the jury a little bit what DNA actually is?
Sure. So, as I said, it stands for deoxyribonucleic acid. It's a chemical that's in almost every cell in our bodies. There's really about 4 things for you to really recall or know about DNA. The first is that we are all unique. So at the union of sperm and egg, we get half our DNA from our father and half from our mother. So when those combine to create a new human being, that person's DNA is set at conception and remains the same throughout their life and even past death. So that's very important to know, that unless you have an identical sibling, there's no one that's going to have the same DNA as you. Secondly, the DNA molecule, although microscopic, is long, and the majority of that DNA is the same from human being to human being. And that makes sense if you think about all of the multitude of enzymes and proteins that the DNA codes for in our bodies. But there's also a portion of the DNA that is very different from person to person. And that's
she works in the lab.
That's the areas of the DNA that forensic scientists study or interrogate. Thirdly, if you take a cell from my foot or my liver or a buccal swab, the lining of my cheek, all of that DNA from one person's body is the same. So that allows us to compare, say, sperm cells to blood cells to saliva. And those are important things to remember in a forensic context about DNA.
And so you indicated those specific unique areas are what you focus on, is that right?
Yes.
Okay. How do you determine whether a biological sample is suitable for DNA analysis?
So a portion of our protocols or procedures are to, once we break open the cells and get to the DNA, if you will, we perform a step called quantitation, and that is where we're quantifying or finding out about how much DNA is present in a sample and the quality or how suitable that DNA is to move forward in the procedures.
Is every biological sample then eligible for DNA analysis?
Not always. Sometimes samples will be too degraded, which means the protein DNA has been broken down or degraded to the point that it's not suitable to give us results.
What about quantity? Does that bar you from being able to do DNA analysis at sometimes?
Sometimes it does, if we don't have enough, or if the pieces, if you will, of DNA are not large enough, we are unable to get a result. One of the beauties of DNA is it doesn't morph or change into something else. It fades so that we get no result instead of we don't get a different result, we just get no result.
And does DNA remain after death?
Yes.
Does the GBI Coastal Crime Laboratory have accreditation for DNA analysis?
Yes.
And was that current at the time that you were working there on this case?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you explain to the jury what type of DNA analysis you perform at the GBI Coastal Crime Laboratory?
So one of the services we perform is DNA typing, where we have an unknown from a crime scene, say a car has been broken into and there's blood there. The officer will submit a swabbing of that sample, and we develop a profile from that using a very stepwise procedure called a protocol, very similar to if you're cooking in a kitchen, you're going to follow a recipe. So we follow those stepwise steps. The first is extraction, where we're going to take a small cutting of that swab or that tissue from a crime scene and place it in a test tube. And we add chemicals and detergents that break open the cells and remove the other proteins that are not useful to our studies. The next step is the quantitation that I talked about, where we're determining how much DNA is there and if it's suitable for additional testing. The next step is called amplification, and this is where we make millions, if not billions, of copies of the regions of the DNA that we want to study. And we do that using different instruments in the laboratory. Then the next step is to analyze or separate all of those pieces of DNA, and we use an instrument that produces a graph, a printout with a series of peaks and valleys that has letters and numbers associated with those, and that is what we refer to as a DNA profile. And that profile is unique to each individual. So we've done that for the unknown, and then separate in time and space, we perform those same steps with a known, a sample that is collected through venipuncture, so a blood sample, or from autopsy, or from the lining of someone's cheek. That is considered a known because we know who that came from. And then we compare those two profiles to see if they're the same or different. If they are different, that's called an exclusion, and that means that that known person could not have contributed that unknown sample from the car, in my example. But if we compare them and they are the same, that's called an inclusion or a match. People refer to it as a match. And then we use statistics to develop a frequency to relay how common or rare that match would be in the community.
And so are those the steps that were taken in connection with this case?
Yes.
Okay. Approximately how many forensic cases, I said approximately, have you worked in your career?
Tens of thousands.
And in each case, is there more than one sample?
Usually, yes.
So that tens of thousands is multiplied by however many samples were in each case?
Correct.
Now, do you only do DNA analysis for criminal investigations?
Yes, with the state of Georgia.
Okay.
Yes.
And when I say criminal investigations, do you handle suicides? Meaning if there was a suicide, might you get a sample from a suicide case?
Yes.
And that
Yes.
might not have been criminal in the nature of simply somebody killed them, they took their own life, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
I misunderstood.
So, no, that's okay. What about missing person cases? Do you
Yes.
sometimes do that as well?
Yes.
Okay. So it's oftentimes law enforcement that's making the submission, but you don't always yield a criminal suspect in a case, do you?
Correct.
Sometimes you said there are exclusions, right?
Yes.
So you would potentially exonerate someone even.
Well, I would exclude them, and then the court system would.
Correct. My apologies. I don't
That's
mean to
fine.
put farther along, but you would indicate that that was not them.
Correct.
Okay. Now, have you ever worked on cases where DNA was not suitable?
Yes.
And how do you document that for the purposes of your records?
So for every test that we perform in the lab, we produce a written record or report to submit to the law enforcement agency that presented the evidence, as well as to the courts. So that report would read something like there was insufficient or inadequate DNA, so not enough DNA for further testing.
And would you then stop at that step?
Yes.
Okay. And if there is sufficient DNA to do additional testing, is that the process that you just described for the jury?
Correct.
Okay. Have you prepared reports on each of the cases that you just described in the tens of thousands that you previously worked?
Yes.
Is a report required in every case?
Yes.
And is that report also peer reviewed?
It is.
Have you ever been asked to review or validate the work of other forensic biologists?
Yes, ma'am.
And would that have been done during the entire time that you were at the crime laboratory as well?
It would have, yes.
Have you previously been qualified as an expert in forensic biology in the courts of this state or any other jurisdiction?
Yes.
Can you tell us approximately how many times?
Over 300.
And in that capacity, was that in the field of forensic biology?
And DNA analysis.
And
yes.
DNA analysis. Have you ever provided testimony, or rather been asked to provide testimony where you were denied expert status?
No, ma'am.
And can you explain to the jury where you've testified? What parts of the state?
All over the state of Georgia, in federal courts in Wisconsin, civil courts.
She's been doing this a
in
while.
Wisconsin and California. Yes.
So all over the country, not just Georgia?
Yes.
Okay. At this time, Your Honor, the state would like to tender Michelle Shepard as an expert in the field of forensic biology and DNA analysis.
Any questions from the defense?
No questions and no objection.
All right, then she is
We're getting
qualified
into the
in field of
forensics.
forensic biology. You may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Shepard, were you provided with biological evidence to analyze in connection with the case that we are here for today?
Yes, ma'am.
And did you, in fact, perform the analysis on those substances?
I did.
And ultimately, did you generate a report in connection with this case?
Yes, I did.
In fact, did you do more than one
Yeah,
report?
I did.
All right, here
yes.
goes the
I'm
lab
going to
analysis.
ask that I
Let's look
show
into it.
witness 1.69 and 1.70. I'm showing them to counsel. They've been pre-marked, Your Honor. Thank you. May I approach?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm showing you these two reports. If you could just take a look at those.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you recognize those reports?
I did.
And how do you recognize them?
I recognize states 1.69 and 1.70 as the reports of my testing at the crime laboratory for the case with the victim as UID Liberty, which is unidentified from Liberty County, case number 2022-600-7185.
And is your signature affixed to those reports?
It is
Is that your actual signature?
an electronic signature. Yes.
But it's the one that you placed on it electronically?
Yes.
Are
Yeah.
those exact photocopies of the reports that you generated in connection with this case?
Yes, ma'am.
At this time, Your Honor, I seek to tender 1.69 and 1.70.
Any objection? No objection, Your Honor. They are admitted.
Thank you. I'm now approaching, Your Honor, with that was 1.69 and 1.70, correct?
Correct.
May I approach, Your Honor, with these additional exhibits? I'm handing you what has already been introduced as exhibits 1.63, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And I'm going to ask you if you recognize what those are.
Yes, ma'am.
And what are those?
So I recognize States Exhibit 1.63 through 1.67 as sealed envelopes that we received from Autopsy with various bloodstained cards from partial human remains.
And when you say you received them from Autopsy, would that have been from a medical examiner?
Yes.
Okay. And do you have any initials or signatures on any of those exhibits, I believe it's 6.3 through 6.7?
I do. In each of these envelopes, which is sealed, there is a unique crime lab case number, item number, barcode, my initials, and the date that I analyzed these, as well as on the seals, have my initials and the date in my handwriting.
So if you were to receive an item in a closed fashion, meaning sealed,
Correct.
how do you make sure that it gets not tampered with?
So the rule is you always, you don't want to, if it's possible, open on someone else's seal. So you create a new opening with scissors or a razor. Again, this is in the laboratory with all personal protective equipment on in sterile environments. And then once I analyze it, I affix the evidence tape and seal it with my initials and the date as it's to be passed to an evidence locker or another individual for further testing.
And is that done on every sample?
Yes.
If I may approach, Your Honor. I'm going to trade you.
Okay.
You'll have those back. I'm going to publish, Your Honor, if that's okay.
You may.
1.63. My apologies.
Give me 1 second.
It's okay. I'm pointing to the lower right-hand portion where there is a barcode. Is that correct?
Yes.
What are those numbers right there?
So the 2022 dash is the crime lab case number that was assigned on entry of this evidence. So each item in this case will have that unique identifier, and then below it is, it says SUBM, that is submission number 5 in this case.
And so if I scroll in close, and I turn this on its side so it's easier,
Okay.
what is right here? Do you see that?
I'm sorry, I didn't see what you're pointing to.
Right here, along the tape.
Oh, the red evidence tape on the short side of the envelope, and written on the envelope as well as the tape is MS, that's my initials, and the date, which is 12/13/22.
And so would it be fair to say that on each of these exhibits, that same procedure, we're just placing them on top of each other. I'm now showing 1.64, 1.67, 1.66, and 1.65. That same procedure was taken with respect to all of those cards?
Yes, ma'am.
And when you received them, were they in a sealed condition?
Yes.
And what did you do with these cards when you received them?
So the service that was requested was to develop DNA profiles from each of these bloodstain cards to see if they originated from the same individual.
So at the time you received them, was there any marking on the card to indicate for you what portion of the remains it was from?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm going to show it again. Or I'm just trying to make this quicker by Elmo. I don't know if that's the technological word for that, but the overhead presenter.
Okay.
Now I'm going to scroll in here, and on the lower left corner, is there a label affixed to 1.65?
Yes, ma'am.
And-
It
ahead.
says UID Liberty WF, which is unidentified, remains from Liberty County, W for white, F for female, and then right leg.
I'm now showing 1.66,
This one is from left leg.
1.67,
It's labeled head,
and 1.64,
torso, spleen,
and 1.63.
torso.
So were there in total then 5 separate bloodstain cards that you received?
Yes.
And did you create a profile for each of these 5 portions of the remains?
I developed a profile using the procedure that I described earlier for each of these samples.
Without sounding graphic, you did not receive her remains, correct?
Correct.
Just those cards?
That is correct.
Okay. And can you tell the jury, did you follow that same procedure and protocol for each and every one of those 5 samples?
I did.
How did you do that with a bloodstain card?
So the bloodstain card contains a a piece of material, kind of like a piece of gauze or a piece of paper. And so I took with sterile scissors a small cutting of that and put it in a tube and subjected it to our procedures.
Okay. And were you able to obtain a profile on each of those 5 bloodstain cards?
I was, yes.
And what were the results and findings of your analysis?
So DNA was isolated from each of the 5 cards we just presented. And the DNA obtained from each item contains a single profile of the same individual.
So at that time, although she was still unidentified white female, would it be fair to say that we knew then that she was at least all the same person?
That is correct.
Okay. And did you document that in your report?
I did.
If I can approach Your Honor. Can I have 1.69, please?
You may.
Thank you. May I publish, Your Honor? So in that very first paragraph there's a whole lot of letters and numbers.
Yes.
Can you explain to the jury what a loci is?
Yes, so a loci is a locus, is single, loci is plural. It's a location. Think of it as a street address for DNA. So it tells a DNA analyst where on the molecule exactly, very specifically, we are getting results.
And so were those the loci that you were looking for to determine those unique characteristics for each individual person?
Yes.
And now you mentioned some statistical data. Can you tell us what the frequency was in this case?
Yes, so the 4th paragraph reads, the frequency in which the profile obtained from these 5 bloodstain cards would be expected to occur in a given population in approximately 1 in 300 septillion.
Do you know how many zeros is a septillion?
There are 24 zeros in septillion.
So 300 would be the number 3 with 26 zeros after it?
Correct.
That's the likelihood of it being the same person, correct?
That is an approximation of how many other individual DNA profiles I would have to look at before I would expect to find another just like this.
That's 26, right? Zeros?
Correct.
And after you made that first analysis, did you then subsequently make the report we just looked at?
Yes.
And can you tell the jury, did you know who that person was by the profile?
No.
Why not?
In forensics, we have to have a known to compare it to see if they're the same or different. And at that point in time, there was no known reference sample to compare it to.
Would it be fair to say, again, I'll just show it to you, that this report, I'm showing it to the witness, Your Honor, was generated back on December, up here,
Yes, 16.
December 16th. So on December 16th of 2022, you didn't have a known sample to compare it to yet, did you?
Correct.
Okay. Can you tell the jury what CODIS is? C-O-D-I-S.
Yes, so CODIS is an acronym that stands for the Combined DNA Indexing System. It is a series of computers and software curated and managed by the FBI that allows forensics and law enforcement to compare samples to individuals and individuals to it allows us to compare evidence profiles to evidence profiles, as well as evidence profiles to individuals.
Is there a very specific protocol for what is allowed to be in the CODIS system?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So only if those are in compliance would it be within CODIS?
Correct.
Now, does that allow you an opportunity to attempt to try to identify an unknown sample, even if you don't have a known sample?
Yes.
Doesn't always work, though, does it?
Correct.
Okay. So it's just one step in the process that is an option to try.
Yes.
Now, can you tell the jury what a buccal swab is?
So a buccal swab or a buccal swab, depending on different people say it different ways, it's spelled B-U-C-C-A-L, and that is a cell that lines different orifices in our bodies. People usually refer to a buccal swab as taken from the inside lining of your cheek.
And can you tell the jury what is the difference between genetic genealogy and DNA?
So DNA testing and typing is done in the forensic laboratories across the world to compare knowns to unknowns to see if they have the same individual contributing that unknown sample. Genetic genealogy is another branch of forensics that seeks to use still DNA technology, but to build family trees to see, since I've testified to the fact that we get half our DNA from our father and half from our mother, we share DNA with our parents and also with closely related individuals. And genetic genealogy studies and expounds that to try to develop leads and generate closely related individuals.
So when you actually have a DNA sample, in this case, you were able to actually analyze the material beyond just potentially genetic genealogy. Is that correct? I mean, maybe that's the wrong way to phrase it. Can you just describe then the difference between the two of them, what they can do? Does that make sense, what I'm asking? If I need to rephrase it, I can. I'll withdraw the question. What I'm asking you essentially is DNA analysis of an actual sample able to give you a definitive result? Meaning, in this case, you produced an actual profile, correct?
Yes.
And you were able to determine whether or not in that frequency those each, and I will use the word match, but to that frequency were the same sample profiles.
Correct.
And you indicated that they were.
Yes.
Okay. Now, with respect to the buccal swab, I believe you called it a buccal swab, that was used, did you have a buccal swab in this case at some point?
Yes, I did.
And do you have that up in front of you now?
I do.
Can you tell us what exhibit number that is?
So I identify states 1.71 as my crime lab case number associated with this case. It is item number 61, and it is labeled buccal swabs collected from Betsy Mebane.
Okay. And can you tell us, how does one collect a buccal swab?
So a medical practitioner or law enforcement agent will take a cotton-tipped applicator, it's like a big Q-tip, and just simply swab the inside of your cheek, and that removes the cells of your cheek, and then places that in a container to air dry, and then places it in an envelope.
And do you recognize that to be the buccal swab that you received in this case?
Yes, I am.
Your Honor, at this time I would seek to tender that exhibit before the board. Thank you. May I have that for just a moment?
Yes.
May I publish, Your Honor? I'm going to just show it to the jury. And does this swab ultimately have the exact same procedure and protocol with the barcode and your initials that you just previously described?
Yes, it does.
And I am not going to open this here.
That's best.
This contains biological evidence, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
She said, "Don't touch
you would have
that."
Opened this in a sterilized environment?
Correct, with gloves and a mask and face
PPE.
shield and lab coat, etc.
Is that how you handle every sample?
Yes.
Okay. So this sample, what did you do with it?
So that is considered a known. So on receipt of that, I submitted it to the same procedures that I've described and made a comparison of the profile that was generated from that sample to the previous 5 envelopes.
And were you able to generate sufficient DNA to create a sample from that buccal swab?
I was, yes.
And did you in fact compare it to the 5 portions that you just described previously?
I did.
And what were your findings as a result?
That my conclusions are that Betsy Mebane is not excluded as the biological parent or biological relative of the bloodstain cards, the 5 bloodstain cards, with a probability of maternity of 99.9999%.
Can you tell us why it isn't 100? How does that work?
So, first of all, we only had one alleged parent to make a comparison to. And secondly, it's not feasible to develop a DNA profile from every individual. Then that might be 100.
Okay. So is this the strongest statistical number that is achievable in a DNA laboratory?
For maternity or paternity, yes.
So 99.9999%.
Yes, ma'am.
If I may have that second laboratory report, I'm going to need the Elmo, please.
Shout out to Elmo.
Madam Clerk, can we turn this?
Tay, what'd you do to YouTube?
And up here, this report reflects your documentation of this case number.
Correct.
I'm showing Exhibit 1.70. Does that reflect the name of the individual whose sample was submitted?
Yes.
And that's what makes it a known sample?
Correct.
And then down here at the bottom, there is a listing of, quote, probability of maternity. Is that correct?
Yes.
And that's the reference you just gave us to the statistics.
Correct.
Thank you. Now, I would like to just ask you, you indicated earlier that there are some things that can impact DNA negatively.
Yes.
And I believe you said UV light, sunlight, some other factors. What happens with water? Can moisture in any way impact DNA?
Certainly, it's a biological material, so it can be washed away.
And if I were to...
Well, that's not
my
good.
apologies. For example, brush against someone else, as I've just done in the courtroom, and I used my actual person as opposed to my clothing. Can you describe for the jury what that is in DNA analysis?
We refer to that as contact or touch DNA, and there is a principle in forensics that there's a transfer of cells, however microscopic or small that amount may be, with each and every contact.
Is it possible that the contact leaves enough DNA to analyze?
Sometimes, yes.
Is it possible that it doesn't leave enough DNA?
Sometimes, yes.
And so initially in the processes you described, you said quantification?
That's fine.
Okay. My apologies to the jury. And amplification, correct?
Yes.
So if that touch did not leave enough DNA, would you know that?
Through our testing, yes.
Okay. And even if it left some, there still may not be enough to do anything with.
That's correct.
Okay. How do chemicals affect DNA, like cleaning fluids?
So different detergents and cleaning fluids are all going to have a detrimental effect on our ability to develop a profile from DNA testing.
What about friction, meaning rubbing or wiping? What impact might that have on DNA?
Again, it depends on the vigorousness of the friction or the washing, or if it's just a light brush or a very brief exposure. All those things are going to impact our ability
YouTube's doing
to
some
develop
updates.
a profile.
In this case, did you do a run through the CODIS system of the profile you generated?
I was instructed to upload this profile, the profile from the 5 envelopes, from the human remains to the CODIS unidentified remains.
We're almost at
index.
cross-examination, guys. I was
Did you
about to
have
skip
any
ahead.
feedback prior to receiving the known sample
I
from
did not.
CODIS? So nothing was in CODIS to compare her to?
Correct.
Okay. So ultimately, when you were able to get the known sample, is that when you were finally able to have confirmation of the remains?
That is correct.
I have nothing further, Your Honor.
All right, now here we go. Cross-examination finally of the lab technician. Let's see what Doug Weinstein has for us.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm Doug Weinstein. I represent Mr. Kassotis in this case. You were talking about contact DNA or touch DNA. If I pick up a bottle of Coca-Cola and I drink it, will I leave DNA around that bottle?
Theoretically, yes.
Where would that DNA be found on the bottle?
It could be found around the rim where your mouth has contact and where you grasp the bottle to drink it.
Would any possibly be found inside the bottle as well?
It's possible.
Okay. What about with a Coke can? Would you find DNA around that Coke can as well?
Again, similarly, it would depend, but around the mouth area where you take a drink and then where it's handled to pick up the can.
And you said that I guess the elements like water or rain could in some way impact the finding of DNA, correct?
Yes.
But it's still possible to find DNA on a bottle or a can that has been exposed to the weather, correct?
Sometimes, yes.
And even if it's exposed to rain, correct?
Sometimes, yes.
Sunlight, correct?
Yes, sometimes.
Heat.
Thank you. I have no further questions.
Dang, that's it, Doug?
Is it also sometimes no?
Correct.
So you don't know unless you actually have it, is what it comes down to, right?
And we perform the test. Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. You're excused.
Okay, well, that was a whole lot of nothing. You found some DNA. There's DNA there. All righty.
Okay, and ladies and gentlemen, we'll let you step out while they set this up.
All right, we're gonna skip ahead to the next witness. How y'all feeling in here? Shout out to the gang in the building. Over 1,300 of you have liked the video so far. Y'all know that's all I ask. I appreciate you. We're gonna keep going. We might be able to get caught up actually, because we're not that far behind, surprisingly.
Please be seated.
All right, here we go with the next witness. Let's see who we have here.
Yes, my name is James Frost, also known by Jack.
Oh,
Frost,
Jack Frost. Hey,
F-R-O-S-T,
Mr. Ice Cold.
with the District Attorney's Office
In what capacity?
as an investigator.
In this circuit?
That's correct.
How long have you been an investigator in this circuit?
For about 2.5, 3 years,
Prior to this position, where were you employed?
with Liberty County Sheriff's Office
In what capacity?
as an investigator.
How long have you spent in law enforcement throughout your entire career?
Been in law enforcement for 25 years.
So let me direct your attention to Friday, December 2nd, 2022. Were you the on-call detective on that date?
I was.
And did you have occasion to be dispatched to a particular location?
I did.
Where was that?
It was off of Barrington Ferry Road on a dirt logging road.
And did you respond to that location?
I did.
And when you got there, what did you find?
There was a deceased female torso that was missing 2 legs and a head.
Jeez.
And where was that torso located? What county?
It was in Liberty County.
And are you familiar with that part of Liberty County?
I am.
How familiar are you?
Fairly familiar that it's pretty rural and planted pines and swamp area, and there's also a historical site not far from there.
Describe the weather conditions that day and the days leading up to that day.
It was kind of unseasonably cool for November for southeast Georgia. I believe the lows had gotten in like the 40s and 50s for a couple of nights up to the 2nd.
Oh, that's
Did you
freezing. People
manipulate
would have
that
been
torso in any way
going
whatsoever?
crazy.
I did touch a piece of it when I was taking pictures, but other than that, it was not moved from its location.
So you were close enough to the torso that you were able to touch it.
That's correct.
Did you detect any odor?
Not really.
Who all was on the scene when you arrived?
There were several hunters in the roadway. Down with the deputy, it was Shane Martin and Brian Del Rio, and then there was Lieutenant Anthony Brown that was also on scene in the setting the crime scene tape.
Do you recall about what time of day it was?
It was around 1650, which is 4 p.m., 4 to 5 p.m. is when the call came out.
What were the daylight conditions like?
It was dusk.
How long did you remain at the scene?
Until about 2 a.m. on the 3rd.
And while you were at the scene, attending the torso that had been found, was anything else found by any other person?
There was a black Husky tote and a Milwaukee brand knife that was discovered just at the entrance of the logging road where it met Barrington Ferry Road.
And were you present when the knife and the tote was discovered?
That's correct, I was.
I'm showing you what's been admitted as State's Exhibit number 2.7. You recognize this picture?
Yes, sir, I do.
What is that picture?
That's the Milwaukee brand knife.
Did you return to that same general area the following day, Saturday, December the 3rd?
I did.
For what purpose?
To look in the ditch lines, that logging road traveled for a mile or better back and made a loop back into Barrington Ferry Road, just to see if there was any other items that we could find.
Yes, this is
had the advantage of daylight.
the other attorney for the
Did
prosecution.
you find it, you yourself find anything of interest?
I did not.
Was Philip McCallum present during the time you were there?
Not when I was there originally. Earlier in the day, he was not.
Later?
Yes,
Earlier?
sir. Later in the day,
And did he make a discovery?
he did.
And did you go to the location of where he made that discovery?
I did.
And when you got to that location, what did you observe?
That he had discovered a right leg in a wooded area as he went to a food plot to put out corn for hunting.
And what did you do after he discovered the right leg?
When I responded on scene, I contacted Agent Sains with GBI, advised him of the discovery, also contacted McIntosh County because we were in the McIntosh County jurisdiction at that time.
Now, when you were there the day before on December 2nd, do you recall having a conversation with Special Agent Sands?
In reference to?
Who was going to be the lead agency? Who was going to assist?
Correct.
Do you recognize Agent Sands in the courtroom?
I do.
Where is he seated?
He's sitting right there, at the prosecution table in the middle.
And you, acting as a representative of the Laramie County Sheriff's Office, requested the GBI to do what?
For any type of investigative assistance and to become lead agency in the investigation.
Now, as you stood by the right leg found by Mr. McCaller, I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong, how long did you remain with that leg?
I would say probably I was on scene for maybe about an hour and a half, 2 hours, best I can recall.
And you remained with the leg until what happened?
Until the county coroner arrived.
And what happened then?
He collected it and transported it to the morgue.
Did you then have occasion on Monday, December 5th, to return to that area?
I did.
For what purpose?
Agent Sands had organized a search with cadaver dogs for the area.
And did you participate in that search?
I did.
Did you find anything?
After the cadaver dogs had cleared the area where Philip McCullough had discovered the leg, the canine handlers advised that it was safe for us to walk through there without contaminating any scent trails or anything that they would be interested in. And we began just searching the grounds, walking through in a semi-grid pattern, found a disturbed area of dirt that appeared to be done by some type of tool consistent with a shovel mark.
It's where all the tool counts come from in the indictment.
Disturbed area of dirt.
I believe the logging road was named Branson Place, and this was the food plot. It's like an improved road where they were where Philip McCullough was putting the corn out for the deer.
And that disturbed area of dirt was in what relationship to where the right leg had been found?
In like an approximation of feet or yards?
Yes.
I would say it's probably between 20 and 50 yards from where the leg was discovered.
Your Honor, may I approach the witness throughout his testimony?
Yes, sir.
I'm showing you now what's marked as State's Exhibit number 210A. Do you recognize that?
I do.
What is that a picture of?
That picture of me pointing to the disturbed area on the ground.
I'm showing you now State's Exhibit number 210B.
Yes, sir.
What is that?
That's a close-up image of the disturbed area on the ground.
And where do you see the disturbed area in that photograph?
In the middle where the dirt's overturned and on top of the pine straw and leaves.
Any items in there that appear to be cut or damaged?
There was some roots here in the middle that were cut.
Do they fairly and accurately depict the disturbed area of dirt as you've testified?
They do.
I'll tender at this time State's Exhibit 210A and 210B.
Any objection? No objection. They're both admitted.
Just to keep it simple, may the witness step down and publish these to the jury. He'll come down here, Detective Ross. And we'll do it on both ends of the jury box. I'm showing you first State's Exhibit number 210. Describe for the jury what this picture shows.
That's me standing off the area. This was to the left here is where basically an improved trail, like a fire break that had been used several times for them to plant a food plot in. And that's the area of disturbed dirt that is overturned and sitting on top of the pine straw.
All right, here's State's Exhibit 210B.
And this is the area of disturbed dirt where this dirt is on top of the pine straw and leaves. And right here in the middle, there's a root that has been cut on one end that's kind of pried up, sticking out of the ground.
And if you do the same thing on the other end. Starting with 210A.
Again, you can see the dirt on top of the pine straw and stuff that was sitting on top of the ground.
And 210B.
And kind of a ditch line here, and that's the piece of root right there.
Thank you. You have a seat. On the day, that same day, on December 5th, 2022, were you present when the canines found an object?
Correct, I was.
And what object was that was found?
I believe it was the left leg.
Was there any damage to the foot on that leg?
There was a presence of insect and animal activity.
And what did you do with respect to the discovery of the leg?
I just responded to the location, waited on Special Agent Brett Dickerson to come. He was there with us as well.
And when Investigator Dickerson arrived, was the leg in the same condition as it was when you first observed it?
Yes, sir.
Was there a discovery made shortly after the left leg was discovered?
Yes, sir, there was.
And what was that?
A gray Sterilite brand container.
Did you see it?
I did.
Did you look inside of it?
I did.
What was inside?
There was a mixture of a brownish red liquid and leaf material.
Did you return to this same general area on Wednesday, December 7th, 2022?
I did.
For what purpose?
To conduct another search, follow-up search with one of the cadaver dogs. Their team had decided, after reviewing the locations they had traveled, any areas of interest that the dogs might have shown interest in a scent trail, for us to continue looking and also to look.
They brought out the dogs
on the ground
too.
Just by walking around for anything that might be of interest, any items of evidence.
Did you find anything?
I did.
What did you find?
A human head.
What led to the discovery of the head?
Driving down again, I believe the road's called Branson Place. It's not an official road, it's like a logging trail. Driving down, looking in the ditch line, it was getting dusk, and there was among the planted pines on the edge of the road, there's a live oak tree. And I was using that to kind of block the sun out of my eyes, and when I could look between that tree and another tree next to it, there appeared to be an area of disturbed dirt behind it that stood out from the rest, as it didn't have the same amount of leaf covering and stuff on it.
So I'm showing you now what's marked as State's Exhibit number 2.16. Do you recognize that?
I do.
What is that a picture of?
That's a picture of my vehicle near the oak tree, along with a yellow evidence marker by an area of disturbed dirt.
Who put that evidence marker there?
I did.
And what is the evidence marker depicting?
That's the location where the head was located.
And does this photograph fairly and accurately depict the scene as you found it that day?
It does.
I'm showing you now what's marked as State's Exhibit number 2.17. Do you recognize that picture?
I do.
What's that a picture of?
A picture of a human head.
Had it been touched or handled in any way at the time that photograph was taken?
Yes, sir. At the time this photograph was taken, we had tried to remove some of the loose dirt. It was kind of sandy, loose soil. And
Wow.
once we got to a point where the dirt wasn't freely falling off, we relocated it to a body bag.
And I'm showing you now State's Exhibit 2.18 and ask you if you can identify that.
I can.
What is it?
It's the same head.
Is it any different than the previous picture?
In this one, we opened the eyes to see the eye color.
And what color are those eyes?
In this picture, they're brown.
And can you recognize the nose and the mouth?
Not clearly, no, sir.
Yeah, please don't show that.
And does this photograph fairly and accurately depict the head that you found?
Yes, sir, it does.
So I'll tender at this time States Exhibit 216, 217, and 218.
It is no objection, Judge.
They're all admitted.
And I would request at this time they be published to the jury via the system.
You may.
All right, do you see anything on your monitor?
No, sir, we don't.
Give me just a minute, Mr. Gregg. It's going to show up on the big TV.
On the big TV.
It is 2.16.
And describe what that photograph shows.
That is me standing off in the planted pines, facing back towards my vehicle on the roadway, and the yellow evidence marker in the foreground of disturbed dirt is the location where the head was discovered.
All right, if we can publish the next exhibit. Do you see that on your screen?
Yes, sir.
What exhibit number is that?
2.17
What does it depict?
is a human head with dirt.
The same head you testified that you discovered?
That's correct.
State's exhibit, the next exhibit, please. Do you see it on your screen?
Yes, sir, I do.
What's the exhibit number?
2.18.
And describe what the jurors are seeing.
The same human head, this time with the eyes a little bit more open to see the eye color.
Glad I'm not on the jury for this one. Jeez.
All right, thank you. You may turn it off. Now, you worked in concert investigating this case with Investigator Sands.
That's correct.
And on May the 5th, 2023, were warrants obtained.
I'm not sure exactly the date, but that sounds close to the right around the time that warrants were secured
For what offense?
for murder.
And who was named as the suspect in that warrant?
Nicholas Kassotis, aka Nicholas Stark.
After that arrest warrant was obtained, was the defendant arrested?
He was.
Approximately how long after the warrants were obtained?
I believe it was May 12th. I believe was the day he was arrested. So just within a few days, maybe about a week.
And on May 13th, 2023, did you accompany Agent Sands to Lancaster, Pennsylvania?
I did.
What was in Lancaster, Pennsylvania?
Mr. Kassotis.
And where was he up there?
He was in the Lancaster State Prison.
Is that a pretrial detention facility or not?
They have a facility for that inside the prison.
And why did you and Agent Sands go to that location?
To attempt to conduct an interview with Mr. Kassotis.
When you met with the defendant, did you inform him of any rights?
They were advised to him by Agent Sands.
In your presence?
That's correct.
I'm showing you an analyst mark that states Exhibit 2.19. Can you identify that?
Yes, sir.
What is that?
It's a waiver of rights form.
Pertaining to who?
Nicholas Killian James Stark.
And can you inform the jury what rights he was advised of before your interview took place?
Yes, sir. I have the right to remain silent. Anything I say can be used against me in a court of law. I have the right to talk to a lawyer and have him present with me while I'm being questioned. If I cannot afford to hire a lawyer, one will be appointed to represent me before any questioning if I wish.
Wow.
I can decide at any time to exercise these rights and not answer any questions or make any statements.
Did he appear to understand those rights?
Yes, sir, I did.
Did he indicate whether or not?
So here goes the interview.
Rights by signing that document?
He did.
Did he do that in your presence?
Yes, sir, I did.
And does this fairly and accurately, is this a copy of the Miranda form that you used to?
Why would he talk to the police? I don't get it.
Yes, sir.
And I'll tender at this time States Exhibit 2.19.
Any objection?
No objection, Your Honor.
It is admitted.
If you will, describe the area where this interview took place.
It was in a room inside the prison. There was a table, a couple of chairs, small window, and a couple of doors.
Was he allowed to be seated?
Yes, sir, he was.
Were you and Agent Sands sitting also?
Yes, sir, we were.
Was the defendant wearing handcuffs?
Not during that time, no, sir.
Did you or Agent Sands have weapons that were visible?
No, sir.
Did you ascertain his level of education?
Agent Sands did, yes, sir.
And what did he report was his highest level of education?
I believe he graduated as a Juris Doctorate.
an attorney?
Yes, sir.
Did he appear to be injured in any way whatsoever?
He did not.
Did he appear to be under the influence of alcohol or drugs to any degree whatsoever?
No, sir, he did not.
Was there anything unusual about his appearance?
No, sir.
Was he cooperative?
He was.
Can you describe his demeanor?
He was very calm, even keeled. It didn't show a lot of emotion, just answered questions. And
I think they'll
was
play the interview,
speaking
yeah.
with us.
Did he seem to be aware of the circumstances surrounding this interview?
Yes, sir.
Let's see the interview.
When you spoke to him, were his answers to you and Agent Sands responsive to the questions that were being asked?
Yes, sir, they were.
At any time did he invoke his right to remain silent?
No, sir, he did not.
At any time did he invoke his right to speak only with an attorney present?
No, sir, he did not.
Was there any offer of hope, of reward, or benefit in exchange for him giving a statement?
No, sir, it was not.
Was he promised any leniency in treatment if he gave a statement?
No, sir, he was not.
Was he threatened or coerced in any way whatsoever to give a statement?
No, sir, he was not.
And was this interview recorded?
It was.
How?
Audio recording.
There's no video of this interview.
No, sir.
Ah, there's no video. Dang. All that hype for nothing.
For how long did the defendant stay in the state of Pennsylvania?
I believe he was there for a period of at least 2 weeks. I believe
That's
when he came back
crazy.
to Georgia was May 26th.
All right, before I move on to that, I'm showing you now State's Exhibit number 2.20. Do you recognize that?
Yes, sir, I do.
What is that?
It's a Georgia Bureau of Investigation waiver of constitutional rights to search warrant of a person.
And what does that seek to obtain?
On here, it's requesting a saliva sample,
And what was the date?
5/13 of 23.
And was the defendant requested
And why would he
to
do that?
provide a sample of his saliva?
Yes, sir, it was.
And did he agree to do that?
He did.
Were there any threats or promises?
No, sir, there was not.
Did he appear to freely and voluntarily consent to the seizure of the sample of his saliva?
Yes, sir, he did.
And was that sample obtained in your presence?
It was obtained in my presence, yes, sir.
In the State's Exhibit number 2.20, a fair and accurate copy of the original consent form?
Yes, sir, it is.
I'll tender at this time State's Exhibit number 2.20.
All right, it's admitted.
And the date on this form is what?
5/13 of 23.
So that's when you were still up in Pennsylvania.
Correct.
Sometime later, the defendant was returned to the state of Georgia, is that correct?
That's correct.
On about May 26, 2023, did you come in contact with the defendant here in Liberty County?
Yes, sir, I did.
For what purpose?
To conduct a follow-up interview.
I'm showing you now what's marked in State's Exhibit number 2.21 and ask if you can identify that.
Yes, sir.
What's that a picture of?
Mr. Kassotis.
Is that how he appeared on May 26, 2023?
Yes, sir.
Is it a fair and accurate copy of the way he appeared that day?
Yes, sir, it is.
I'll tender at this time State's Exhibit number 2.21.
There's no video of the interview, guys, unfortunately.
Why did you come in contact with him again on May 26th?
To conduct a follow-up interview.
Were you alone or with anyone?
I was with Special Agent Sands again.
And before that interview took place, did you advise the defendant of any rights
Special Agent Sands did again, yes, sir.
in your presence?
Yes, sir.
I'm showing you now what's marked in State's Exhibit 2.22. Do you recognize that?
Yes, sir, I do.
What is that?
It's a waiver of rights form.
And can you inform the jury what rights he was advised of prior to that interview taking place?
Yes, sir. I have the right to remain silent. Anything I say can be used against me in a court of law. I have the right to talk to a lawyer and have him present with me while being questioned. If I cannot afford to hire a lawyer, one will be appointed to represent me before any questioning if I wish.
Yes, the defendant is
I
a
can decide
lawyer.
at any time to exercise these rights and not answer any questions or make any statement.
Did he appear to understand those rights as he was being informed?
Yes, sir, he did.
Did he indicate on that form whether he agreed to waive those rights?
He did.
How did he indicate that?
He signed.
In your presence?
Yes, sir.
can't remember, is this tendered already or not? 222. Is it a fair and accurate copy of the original Miranda warning rights as given by Agent Sands to the defendant?
Yes, sir, it is.
I'll tender State's Exhibit 2.22. Where did that interview take place?
At the Liberty County Jail in the CID building in an interview room.
Can you describe the area where the interview took place?
Yes, sir. It's a room with a table and a couple of chairs in it.
Was the defendant allowed to be seated?
Yes, sir, he was.
Were you and Agent Sands seated?
Yes, sir, we were.
Did he appear to be under the influence of alcohol or drugs?
He did not.
Did he appear to be injured in any way whatsoever?
He did not.
Did you or Agent Sands have weapons that were visible?
On that day, I cannot recall if we had our weapons out of the holsters and put up, or our holsters were just present or not.
They were never removed from holsters?
No, sir, not in the room.
Was there anything unusual about his appearance or his behavior?
No, sir.
Was he cooperative?
He was.
Can you
There she
describe his
is.
demeanor during that interview?
Very calm, unemotional, and responsive to question.
Did he seem to be aware of his surroundings?
He did.
Did he seem to understand what was happening?
Yes, sir.
When you spoke to him and Agent Sands spoke to him, were his answers responsive to the questions?
Yes, sir, they were.
At any time did he invoke his right to remain silent?
No, sir, I did not.
At any time did he invoke his right to speak only with an attorney being present?
No, sir, he did not.
Was he offered any hope of reward or benefit in exchange for making a statement?
No, sir, he was not.
Was he promised any lenient treatment in exchange for him making a statement?
No, sir, he was not.
Was he threatened or coerced in any way whatsoever?
No, sir, he was not.
And was this interview recorded?
Yes, sir, it was.
How was it recorded?
Both audio and video recording.
Okay, let's see. Play the interview. Run the tape, man.
At this time, the state is tendering a number of certified with the business records. And they come with a certificate of authenticity. They've been shown to Mr. Weinstein. Now, moving to admit at this time, State's Exhibit number 2.26A and 2.26B, 2.26C, 2.23, 2.24, 2.25, 2.25A, and 2.25B.
Any objection?
Can I just say this
Yes, sir.
before we move in? Sure. Thank you.
Looks like we have some transcripts.
No objection, Your Honor.
All right, the exhibits are admitted without
There we
objection.
go.
Before we get into the exhibits, can you describe for the jury what investigative steps were taken to try to develop a lead as to who the offender was?
We looked at the evidence that we had. I knew from just personal experience shopping and from a previous case dealing with Home Depot loss prevention, Milwaukee brand and Husky brands were ones that were sold at those stores. So I had the SKU number was still on the Husky box. So I took that SKU and a picture of the knife and sent it to loss prevention for Home Depot and requested any purchases in the area of the last couple of months of a combination of those two items with other items or just with that items individually.
And when you're talking about the knife, you're referring to the knife as depicted in State's Exhibit 2.7?
That's correct.
I'm showing you now what's marked as State's Exhibit number 2.25. Can you identify what that is?
It's a business records affidavit
Attached to what?
attached to a response with a list of sales of items and customer information.
Was that based on an inquiry you made with Home Depot?
That is correct.
And what does that item, that business record, show?
It shows purchases of the Milwaukee knife.
Does it identify the purchaser?
Yes, sir, it does.
By what name?
Just by name.
And what name is on that document? Is there more than one name?
There is.
Is the defendant's name on that document?
Yes, sir, it is.
And it indicates what?
Nicholas Kassotis.
Does it? Go ahead.
gives a date, 11/29 of 2022, gives a time of 8:56 a.m., and gives a store number of 170, a registration number, transaction type, and the tender type, and the amount paid.
All right, I'm showing you at this time what's marked as State's Exhibit 2.23. Can you identify that document?
Yes, sir. It's also the business records affidavit
From what business?
from Home Depot.
And what
That's where
does
you got the
Exhibit
knife from.
2.23 show?
It is a Home Depot receipt for August 16th of 2022.
For a purchase of what?
It has Clorox paper towel wipes, Gorilla
Not great.
Glue,
Not great.
reusable latex gloves,
Not great.
scented cinnamon broom,
Not great.
caulkbacker, folding razors,
Jeez.
and a putty knife and a Coke Zero.
They have the knife.
Let's go back to
Yes.
that last. Home Depot Business Record States Exhibit number 225. I'm showing you now what's marked as States number 2.26. Can you identify that?
Yes, sir. The top one is the business records affidavit from Home Depot.
And what is attached?
Spreadsheet with the purchases of the knife from customers from period of October to December from stores on the I-95 corridor from Brunswick to Charleston.
And on that document is the defendant's name. Does it appear?
Yes, sir, it does. This document here, I'm sorry, is actually the list of items he purchased, that Nicholas Kassotis purchased from Home Depot.
On what date?
It has a date range of August 6th through December 29th on this.
I'm showing you now what's marked as States 2.26. Can you identify that?
That appears to be the same form.
Okay. Just in a different format.
Correct.
Showing you now what's marked as States 2.26. Can you identify that?
Yes, sir. Also the business records affidavit for Home Depot. And it is a receipt for November 29th, 2022 for a Milwaukee smooth blade insulation knife.
Oh my
That's that
goodness.
same orange handle knife that has been
This is-
referred to earlier.
Correct.
Rough.
It also has an image on it as well.
And the image was taken from where?
From Home Depot.
Surveillance video?
Correct. Would you like all these?
Yes. Do you recognize the person who's depicted in this surveillance video attached to that exhibit?
Yes, sir. It's Mr. Kassotis.
Do you see anything under his arm?
It appears to be a Milwaukee knife.
They have him buying this stuff.
I'm showing you now what's marked as States Exhibit 2.23. Can you identify that?
Yes, sir. It's a business records affidavit, also from Home Depot.
And what does that record show?
It shows purchases, the ones I read earlier, 75 count Clorox towel wipes, Gorilla Super Glue, latex gloves, cinnamon broom, caulkbacker, folding utility knife, flexible putty knife, and a Coke Zero.
And on what date were those items purchased?
That was purchased August 16th of 2022.
At what store?
That would be the 1901 East Victory Drive in Savannah, Georgia.
I'm showing you now what's marked States Exhibit number 2.24. Can you identify that?
Yes, sir. The business records affidavit from Home Depot.
And what does it show?
Shows a purchase date of November 4th, 2022 at the 11180 Abercorn Street Extension, Savannah, Georgia store. And it shows an Anvil D-handle digging shovel, And
Oh,
another
come
item,
on, not
fiberglass
the,
hammer, 20-ounce fiberglass hammer,
not the shovel.
And the date of that purchase?
was November 4th,
In which-
2022.
Which store?
It's 11180 Abercorn Street, Savannah, Georgia.
Dang, man.
Also an image attached to it.
Amy said this guy is guilty as a mofo.
What is the image?
I don't know what we're doing here.
Kassotis, walking out of the store with a shovel.
That's taken from the surveillance system of that store?
That's correct.
Of course, for the jury's benefit, they will have all of these items submitted as evidence out with them in the jury deliberation room. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
I'm showing you now what's marked as State's Exhibit number 2.25A. Do you recognize that?
It's a state of Missouri, the County of Greene business records affidavit.
What does it depict?
Custodian records for Bass Pro. And there's a receipt attached to it, but the print's too small to make out.
And has that print been enlarged in State's Exhibit number 2.25B?
That is consistent with the format, yes, sir.
And what does that show?
It shows a purchase from the Savannah store on November 28, 2022. And it's a Pursuit 7-piece knife set.
And based on learning that that 7-piece knife set had been purchased from Bass Pro, what, if anything, did you do?
I requested a copy of this and any other information that had reference to this purchase. And I was also requested to go and buy one of the 7-piece knife kits.
Did you?
Yes, sir, I did.
I'm showing you now what's marked as State's Exhibit number
Let's see it.
2.25C. Do you recognize that?
I do.
How do you recognize it?
That's my handwriting on the evidence bag,
And what's inside that evidence bag?
the 7-piece knife kit.
And when you placed it in that bag, was the bag sealed by you?
Yes, sir, it was.
Was the knife set in a new condition when you placed it in the bag?
Yes, sir, it was.
Had it ever been used by you?
No, sir, it had not.
At this time, would you unseal that bag in the presence of the jury? You just removed the box. Describe that box.
It's got orange writing, white writing, got a picture of 4 different knives, a sharpener, a nylon carry bag, and a saw.
And are those knives inside that box?
It feels like it has some contents in it.
My goodness, man.
Does the box appear to be in the same or similar condition as when you packaged it?
Yes, sir, it does.
I'll
And
figure
Amy's
this
telling
one
y'all about
State's
the knife
Exhibit
that was
number
found.
2.25C. During the course of your investigation, did you research the recall history of the defendant's 2022 Ford Explorer?
I did.
Did you have access to that vehicle purchase information?
I did.
Did you have access to the VIN on that vehicle?
I did.
And were you able to search for recalls using that unique VIN?
Yes, sir, I did.
And what was the result of your research?
The only recall I could locate was one for a rear bolt failure that would cause a vehicle to roll out apart.
And how
Okay.
recently did you perform that search?
Just last night.
Did you find any evidence of recalls for engine fires for that vehicle?
No, sir, I did not.
I think there's a matter we need to take up outside the presence of the jury briefly.
Oh, wow. They're kicking the jury out? Okay. What's going on here?
Be excused, or can we handle this?
They need to be excused.
Quiet, ladies and gentlemen, please step out just a minute.
Okay. Let's see what's going on here.
Mr. McCollum.
So, I don't. Intend to tender. Do you have any objection? I don't.
All right, everyone, please be seated. Yes, sir, Mr. McCollum.
So this will be simpler than I anticipated. Mr. Hershey yesterday was asked about a vehicle recall. He was asked, are you familiar that in August of 2024, Ford recalled 85,000 Ford Explorer SUVs for engine fires over the period of manufacture from 2020 to 2022? My intent was to tender this. States Exhibit number 2.52 that we obtained from the internet. I believe that's where the information came from. And it's my understanding that Mr. Weinstein will not object to me tendering this as an exhibit.
And just to clarify, I don't recall exactly where that information came from that I got yesterday, but I do not object to the state tendering this exhibit.
All right, then, problem solved.
Yes.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Where's the,
Step up and ask him.
yeah, if you would, go ahead and ask him to come back in.
Okay, Doug's going to get into cross-examination
That's
here
right.
shortly. I want to see when his ex is going to show up.
Counsel, you may continue.
While the jury's in the courtroom, the state will tender to exhibit 2.52.
We're in the country, so we say sidebar.
I'm
Bar.
showing this to you, Detective Frost, exhibit 2.52.
Georgia.
Do you recognize that?
No more sidebars. This is sidebar.
Yes, sir.
Where'd that come from?
It's a screenshot from my
Where'd they get
computer.
that at? You heard that? He said, where'd they
Would you
get that
read
at?
the contents of that to the jury, please?
Ford Motor Company, August 16th, Reuters. Ford Motor Company is recalling about 85,000 Explorer SUVs equipped with the police interceptor
Come on,
utility
KD.
package over concerns of an engine fire, the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration
Bar.
said Friday. In the event of a motor failure, oil and fuel may be released into the engine compartment and accumulate near ignition sources, possibly resulting in fire, the regulator said. There's also a blurb for stay up to date, the latest news trends. That's just Reuters. The recall affects SUVs from model years 2020 to 2022, equipped with a 3.3 liter hybrid and gasoline engines.
So you have the
His ex
purchase
better
documents
testify.
of the vehicle that was sold to the defendant in this case. Is
They're in
that
the
correct?
file. Yes, sir.
Did that vehicle purchased by this defendant have a police interceptor package?
Not according to the bill of sale, no, sir.
Did it have a 3.3 liter hybrid engine?
No, sir, it did not.
That's all the questions I have.
Okay, that's it. Cross-examination. See what Doug has.
Good morning, Investigator Frost.
Good morning, sir.
My name is Doug Weinstein. I represent Mr. Kassotis,
Yes, sir.
as I'm sure you well know.
Good.
So I understand that you are employed by the folks at this table, right? You're employed by the DA's office right now?
That is correct, sir.
Okay. But you formerly were with the Liberty County Sheriff's Office.
That is correct, sir.
At the
He
time
said
you were
he's
doing this
guilty.
investigation, were you with the Liberty County Sheriff's Office then?
I was.
And
Yes,
then
sir.
you, I'm sorry, I'll let you finish the question.
Yes, sir, I was.
Finish the answer. And then you subsequently became employed with the DA's office, which is where you're working right now, correct?
That is correct, sir.
All right. Let me ask you about that Milwaukee knife that you found at the scene. Now, you mentioned Mr. Kassotis purchasing a Milwaukee knife at Home Depot, correct?
That's correct.
And it was the same model knife, right?
Correct.
But you have no way of knowing if that is the same knife, correct?
That is correct.
As far as you know, it could be a completely different knife.
That is correct.
And because of a previous investigation, I guess you've been a part of, you went to Home Depot looking for that Milwaukee knife, correct?
That is correct.
Did you go to City Electric Supply looking for that knife?
No, sir, I did not.
Did you go to Savannah Rubber Conveyor looking for that knife?
No, sir, I did not.
Did you go to Ferguson Enterprises to look for that knife?
No, sir, I did
No.
not.
Did you go to Whitecap to look for that knife?
No, sir, I did not.
What about LGG Industrial?
No, sir, I did not.
Savannah Wire and Electric,
No, sir, I did not.
Berwick Ace Hardware?
No, sir, I did not.
None of those places.
No, sir, I did not.
Well, what about Train Technologies?
No, sir, I did not.
United Refrigeration?
No, sir, I did not.
Did you go to Triple J Mechanical?
No, sir, I did not.
Did you go to Sandpiper Supply?
No, sir, I did not.
Did you go to Johnstone Supply?
No, sir, I did not.
Contractors Depot?
No, sir, I did not.
Motion Industrial?
No, sir, I did not.
Gray Bar Electric?
No, sir, I did not.
The Krager Company?
No, sir, I did not.
Savannah Tool House?
No, sir, I did not.
Can't read my own writing, I'm sorry. Did you go to Granger?
No, sir, I did not.
Southern Pipe and Supply?
No, sir, I
Shout out to
did not.
Granger.
Baker Distributing?
No, sir, I did not.
U.S. Tool Group and Garden?
No, sir,
Jordan?
no, sir, I did not.
Southside Ace?
No, sir, I did not.
Triple J Mechanical?
No, sir, I did not.
Harbor Freight, McCoy's. Yeah, there you go. Tractor Supply.
Did you do a
You say
search
that
online,
already?
or did you do any kind of search to see who else other than
Amazon?
Home Depot was a distributor for Milwaukee Tools?
I did.
And what did you find when you
The
looked
knife was
online?
commonly sold at other places as well.
But you searched in none of those other places, is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. Why didn't you search in those other places?
The only reason why I searched at Home Depot first and only was because of the combination of that being found next to the Husky tote, and I knew Husky was also a brand that Home Depot carried.
Okay, but you had no interest in checking out any of those other places?
Y'all
where
aren't
that
feeling the
Milwaukee tool
defense in this case.
I did.
You mentioned that you were present in Lancaster, Pennsylvania on May the 13th, 2023, during that initial interview with Mr. Kassotis.
Yes, sir, that's correct.
And you said that Mr. Kassotis was calm, correct?
That's correct.
He was even-keeled, correct?
Correct.
And I believe you said he openly discussed the case with you,
That's correct.
and he was responsive to all your questions.
Yes, sir, he was.
He didn't invoke his rights under the Constitution, correct?
Correct.
But he's a lawyer. He was aware of those rights. He was aware he did not have to speak to you, correct?
Yeah, Doug's
And yet he
undefeated.
still talked to you about this case.
Yes, sir, he did.
On May the 26th here in Georgia, when he got down here, again, you were present when he was being interviewed or interrogated then, correct?
That's correct.
And then again, he was calm, right?
That's correct.
And he was cooperative, correct?
That's correct.
And he was responsive.
Correct.
He still had his law degree then, right? So he was still a lawyer.
To my knowledge, that's correct.
You made him aware of his constitutional rights as you testified, right?
That was Agent Sands, but yes, sir, I was present for it.
And I certainly hope as a lawyer that he was aware of those rights. And again, you knew he was a lawyer, correct?
To my knowledge, yes, sir, he was.
Okay. Yet he still discussed the case with you.
That's correct.
Okay. Do you own a car?
I do.
Have you ever had have any of your cars or trucks ever been subject to recall?
Yes, I have.
What?
So, and you may or may not be familiar with this, but you know, recalls, they sometimes spread. They'll start out with a small recall, and then over time, more and more vehicles will get recalled, correct?
I'm not aware how they work, sir.
You know, for example, do you recall the Takeda airbag recall from years ago?
I've heard of it, yes, sir.
You know, that was a Marietta lawyer that got that started, but that aside, that began in 2006. I don't know if you remember the exact year, but you recall it was some time ago, right?
Yes, sir.
And are you aware that, for example, on the Takeda airbag recall, that over time, more and more and more vehicles were recalled? You remember reading about that?
I believe I heard it was quite a number of vehicles that were recalled.
Okay. So it's not unusual that recalls can spread over time from the initial recall, correct?
Correct.
Begging the court's indulgence.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
I don't know how.
Or at least I will.
There you go.
Oh, excuse me, one last question, then I'll let you go. Or at least I will. The purchase of the shovel, when was that again?
Without looking at the receipt, best of my recollection, it was November 4th, 2022.
So November 4th, 2022. And how far in advance of that, how far in advance of finding Mindi Kassotis was November 4th, 2022?
We discovered her on December 2nd, 2022.
Okay. So roughly, can I say approximately a month?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Do you have a shovel?
Yes, sir, I do.
Did you purchase it?
I did.
Okay. I've got no more questions.
Yes, sir.
No question.
All right, thank you, sir. You can step down.
Okay, that's it. Well, again, guys, we've watched several trials together. I'm not seeing where the defense is going with this. Gonna give it some time. We're still only on day 3. We got a lot of trial left, and the defense gets to call their witnesses as well. So let me think of this. Let me know what you think of this so far. Is the prosecution sealing the deal with every witness that comes up? Are you more confused? Do you have more questions? You think Nick is done? I want to know what y'all think. I have a few shovels. What does that have to do with anything? Well, I think it's timing. If you have a few shovels, Tay, and then someone ends up a couple of days later in your backyard, buried somewhere. I don't know. What's Amy saying? Your eyes hold galaxies. Every glance illuminates something beautiful in me. Oh, shout out to Amy. Again, talking about herself. Shout out to the awesome, amazing Amy in here. Always showing love. All right, I think we're going to, because they're probably going to take a lunch break soon. So we're going to get into another topic here, and then I'm going to set y'all free. I've been saying I was going to cover what was going on with this Gilbert Arenas indictment. I want to make sure I get this out before it gets too late, because I have not seen anybody covering this. So we're going to talk about it, and then we'll get into some more of Nick later. But Amy says, I don't know where Doug is going with this. Since the details of the crime came before the narrative, then it seems all over the place. Are you talking about opening statements? Or you're talking about what we observed? Because I'm still trying to follow it as the prosecution is presenting this, and it just seems pretty straightforward from a prosecution standpoint. Let's see. Doug, don't fraternize with the enemy. Doug's looking good. He's losing weight. Shout out to Doug, man. Yeah, he's gotten in great shape. And he's been intentional about it, sharing a lot of his journey over on X too. Amy said he married the woman months after Mindi was killed. And she said, Doug, your client guilty as hell. KD said she, meaning the ex-wife, is not coming, ClassE. She doesn't want to be chopped up. Well, dang. I hope that doesn't happen. Anyway, let's go ahead and get into this segment so I can get y'all up out of here. Big shout out to all 1,300 of you that are in here, and every single one of you have liked the video. If you're just joining us and you haven't liked the video yet, please, please, please make sure y'all do that. I beg for likes like crazy, so you best get used to it. And then Vintage says, I'm saying that I don't think Doug is in control because the prosecutor presented autopsy stuff before he could establish his client's character. And the defense will have an opportunity to present their case as well. So we'll get into that. All right. So we've been talking about what happened with this Gilbert Arenas indictment. I'm actually going to get into the indictment. We're going to read the first part of it, the initial summary, and talk about what Gilbert Arenas is being charged with, why he got arrested. In case you didn't know, Gilbert Arenas was indicted along with several other people who are currently still locked up for some illegal gambling that was going on at one of his homes. Now, Gilbert Arenas, he was let out on a $50,000 bond, and now he's out, and he said in the past that he's going to snitch. What? Said he's not going down for this. I don't know what's happening. I don't know what happened, but it's not going to be me. And one of the people he mentioned in a recent live stream he did was Stephen A. Smith. And Stephen A. Smith had something to say about Gilbert Arenas' seemingly nonchalantness about this whole situation. Let's check it out, and then we'll get into the full indictment, and I'll tell you guys a breakdown of what's actually going on and what Gilbert Arenas is going to be charged with. Here we go.
But not before I get into the first topic that I feel compelled to discuss, and that is involving former NBA standout Mr. Gilbert Arenas of Gil's Arena, of course. As you probably have heard, the former NBA star was arrested Wednesday and is accused by the Department of Justice of being a part of a high-stakes illegal gambling ring that ran out of one of his California homes. He is facing a federal indictment on account of conspiracy to operate an illegal gambling business, one count of operating an illegal gambling business, and one count of making false statements to federal investigators. According to the Justice Department, Arenas rented out an Encino, California mansion to host illegal poker games. Arenas faces up to 5 years in prison on each charge if convicted. After this came to light, Arenas had a live stream going where he brought, of all people, up. He brings up me, yours truly, Stephen A. Smith.
Oh, no.
Listen to what the brother had to say.
Hey, Stephen A., man, we got to talk, brother. Cause it ain't a damn coincidence that everybody you know going to church. hey, Stephen, huh? Everybody.
And the reason he's saying this is because not only was Shannon Sharpe off of First Take, Shannon Sharpe got off of First Take, he got fired because of the situation he had there. We've been through it ad nauseum, right? Then you had Marcus Morris was also on First Take, and then he got arrested for some alleged illegal gambling. And now he has a relationship. Stephen A. Smith has a relationship with Gilbert Arenas, and Gilbert Arenas is saying, "Hey, Stephen A. Smith, why are all these people around you going to jail? What's going on?" It's just wild.
Hey, man, everybody, like, ah, damn. Y'all see that? Everybody. What? No, I ain't saying, no, I ain't saying I ain't saying, nobody snitch. I'm just saying, hey, man. Hey, man, you know how to pick them. Hey, crazy. Stephen, you know how to pick them, man. I'm going to just be honest.
And Gilbert being one of them.
It's like the Madden curse, just the other way around.
Now, look, he's obviously playing around and all of that other stuff, and I get it. Because we all know, we're not blind. We know what's been in the news. Shannon Sharpe has been in the news. Marcus Morris Sr. has been in the news. Now Gilbert Arenas has been in the news. I get all of that.
Has nothing to do with Stephen A. Smith.
That fella's nothing but the best. As far as I'm concerned, I wish every single one of them was on First Take now with no issues whatsoever. Because I got love for all of them brothers. But I'm going to address what Gilbert said, because here's what alarmed me. I've gotten to know Gil a little bit. I respect the hell out of him. First of all, I think he's a brilliant basketball mind. Let's get that out the way first. I think Gil's Arena is a hell of a podcast, hell of a basketball show. Let's get that out the way. He's very excitable, very knowledgeable, and we know that about him. And in light of what he's being accused of, however, I'm still going to say to Gil, bro, I need you not to play around. Because, my brother, I don't want to see you in jail at all. It's not a good look. It's nothing to laugh about. It's nothing to joke around about and think it's funny. I agree. When the feds come raiding your home. I don't want to see that. I don't want to hear about anything like that. I can assure you, anybody that wants to do business with you, and I'm one of those people, ESPN, Underdog, a whole bunch of sponsors and advertisers, we don't want to see that. Anybody that knows anything about you and your knowledge of the game and your ability to articulate and deliver your positions, my brother, you are a special talent. We don't want to see that. And the reason why I felt compelled to come on the airwaves and address you directly is because I want to remind you of what really, really got you in trouble in the NBA to begin with. Remember that years ago? With Javaris Gritterton? Remember all of that?
That's a
With
fair
the guns
point.
in the locker room? Remember all of that? Remember all of that happened? And you remember what really got you in trouble thereafter, because as bad of a look as that was, and as much as former Commissioner David Stern and others were ready to bring the heavy hand down upon you, what really exacerbated the situation is that you had a game a night or two later against the Philadelphia 76ers. I would know because I was there. And you were joking around, feigning as if you were shooting guns when the introductions or the warm-ups were taking place. I don't remember exactly what it was.
And a lot of people say that's what was the downfall of Gilbert Arenas' career. Why he didn't have a longer career was because of that situation.
Stern went ballistic. It was like, somebody like you has no place in this league. Because it's not a joking matter to other people. And the reality is that, my brother, it shouldn't be a joking matter to you.
Well, is it a joking matter? We're going to find out. Shout out to Stephen A. Smith. We got the indictment here, and we're going to look at it and see what's going on. We've got the United States of America versus these people. Who are these people? We've got Giora, we've got Eugene, we've got Alicia, we've got YC, and then we've got Gilbert Arenas, aka Agent Zero, and some other interesting folks. What was going on here? All right, so we have the object of the conspiracy beginning no later than on or about September 12, 2021, and continuing through at least on or about July 2022 in LA County within the Central District of California and elsewhere. Defendants, all these people, we have no idea who they are, and Gilbert Arenas knowingly conspired with each other and with others known and unknown to a grand jury to operate an illegal gambling business in violation of Title 18 United States Code Section 1955. Manner and means of the conspiracy. The object of the conspiracy was to be accomplished in substance as follows. Defendant Gilbert Arenas would rent out a residence located on Gable Drive in Encino, California. The Gable House is what they would call it, for the purpose of hosting illegal poker games. Not great. Defendants Katz and defendants Arenas' direction would stage the Gable House, I want to say Gamble. The Gable House to host illegal poker games, find conspirators to host illegal poker games at the Gable House, and collect rent from the co-conspirators on defendant Arenas' behalf. And what Gilbert Arenas is saying is like, hey, I just had the house, we were renting it, I didn't know what was going on, and I'm snitching on everybody. Is he going to be able to prove that? We'll have to wait and see. So all these people and others known and unknown to the grand jury would manage illegal pot limit or PLO poker games, among other gambling games, and at the Gable House. To profit from the illegal gambling operation, defendants other than Gilbert Arenas would collect a rake, that is, a fee from the house would charge for or from each pot, either a percentage or a fixed amount per hand. So it sounds like Gilbert Arenas was the one who had the house and rented the house, like you said. And then these other guys who he was in business with or knew were running the illegal poker games. All right. So the defendant Gresham would hire young women who, in exchange for tips, would serve drinks, provide massages, and offer companionship, the players at the Gable House. What else did they do? They would charge the women a tax, that is, a percentage of the women's earnings, for working the games. If they can find these women and find out if they maybe did some other stuff, that might add to the conspiracy. These guys would also, other than Gilbert Arenas, hire chefs, valets, and armed security for the illegal poker games at the Gable House. It sounds like Gilbert Arenas was around some of the wrong people. Also, one of the defendants would work as a chip runner at the illegal poker games held at the Gable House, in which capacity he would track players' winnings and losses, distribute poker chips to players, and pay employees. Okay. On or about the following dates, the furtherance of the conspiracy and to accomplish its object, defendants Gresham, the other guys, and Gilbert Arenas, and others known and unknown to the jury, committed the following overt acts, among others, in the Central District of California. What did they do? In 2021, defendants Arenas and Katz agreed to use the Gable House for illegal poker games. All right, so Katz texted Gilbert Arenas to ask whether he was still planning on doing your own game, to which Gilbert Arenas replied, I might throw a PLO game at my house. Oh no. So this isn't great, because Gilbert is just saying, hey, all I did was rent the house, but it's showing clearly here that he was involved in the poker deal. Referring to hosting illegal poker games at the Gable House. Over at Act Number 2, on October 8th of 2021, defendants Arenas texted defendants Katz the date the Gable House would be available to host illegal poker games, the amount of rent defendants Arenas wanted to charge for hosting the illegal poker games, and the number of games he was planning on hosting at the Gable House per week. On October 26, 2021, while discussing staging the Gable House to host illegal poker games, defendants Katz, texted defendant Arenas a picture of a poker table with the words "The Lion's Den" printed on the top of the table. On November 10th, 2021, Gilbert Arenas texted defendant Katz a picture of a gold trim poker table with the words "Arenas Poker Club" printed on top of the table, and the image of a basketball player with a jersey labeled Arenas wearing the number 0 for Agent Zero. I don't know if there's enough snitching that can get you out of this one, but we'll have to wait and see. On November 23rd of that same year, Gilbert Arenas texted Katz that his financial advisor, RJ, was asking for the rent for the illegal poker games hosted at the Gable House. On December 13th, Katz sent Gilbert Arenas a text message stating that the defendant Arenas owed defendant Katz $14,000 for the tables and chairs as a startup expense for hosting illegal poker games at the Gable House. Man, these sound like mob type stuff going on. On the 23rd, 2 days before Christmas, Gilbert Arenas texted defendant Katz that he had $14,000 for him. On December 28th, 3 days after Christmas, Gilbert Arenas texted defendant Kat that he wanted the rake for an illegal poker game hosted at the Gable House for defendant Arenas' birthday to go to the mother of a deceased former lover. And what else happened? Gilbert Arenas and Katz rented the Gable House to defendants, these other guys, for them to hold more illegal poker games. We're not going to read through the details there, but obviously Gilbert Arenas was involved in that. Gresham recruited the staff to work at the Gable House. We heard about this in 2022. The defendant Gresham sent text messages to women inviting them in coded language to work at a illegal poker game at the Gable House that night. On May 24th of 2022, defendant Gresham sent text messages to a woman asking her in coded language whether she was open to engaging in, oh no, I knew this was coming, to engage in prostitution at his illegal poker game at the Gable House that night. What? I knew this was coming. In June 28th of that same year, defendant Gresham sent the text messages to a woman inviting her in coded language to work at the illegal poker game at the Gable House that night and explaining in coded language that he charged women 25 to 35% of their earnings for working the illegal poker game. All right, one of the other defendants hired the dealers at the Gable House. He also hired the chip runner. He recruited armed security. And Gilbert Arenas monitored the illegal gambling activity at the Gable House. What did Gilbert do? Allegedly. On February 25th of that same year, defendant Gilbert Arenas and defendant's Kat sent Katz a text message asking Katz how much the rent defendant's Katz had collected as payment for hosting the illegal poker games at the Gable House. We're going to see that in evidence at some point, I assume. Those text messages. On March 16th, in a group chat with Katz and two others, Gilbert Arenas complained that the players and girls come high and drunk already to the illegal poker games at the Gable House, so he knew what was going on. On April 1st, April Fool's Day, defendant Gilbert Arenas texted Kat and asked whether the defendant Katz was going to pay him for rent for hosting the illegal poker games at the Gable House. This is not a joke, Gilbert Arenas. This is serious. My goodness. On April 17th, Gilbert Arenas texted him again and said, I have an idea that might bring in new players for you. What? I'm going to do a YouTube episode of me at the game, but blur out the players and girls that don't want to be seen for my channel. On April 20th, Gilbert Arenas texted him again, asking him if he had anyone who could host an illegal poker game at the Gable House on Monday. On May 18th, Gilbert Arenas sent Kat a text message directing him to find a new host for illegal poker games at the Gable House on Wednesdays. And then on July 8th of that same year, Gilbert Arenas demanded rent for the illegal poker games from Katz. The operation of an illegal poker game at the Gable House on July 19th and the 20th. This is wild, guys. Okay, and then we have, of course, all the charges here. All right, so that was count one. we've got count 2. Obviously goes against all of them. The grand jury alleges paragraphs 2 and 3 of this indictment here, beginning no later than in or about February 2022 and continuing to July. That what else? The defendants, what did they do? And others known and unknown to the jury, each aiding and abetting others, conducted, financed, managed, supervised, and directed, and owned an illegal gambling business in violation of California Penal Code 337. So we've got all this here. We've got count 3. We've got count 4. And it goes on and on and on. I mean, guys, I'm looking at this and it's not looking great for Gilbert Arenas. So I'm going to leave it there. You will have to let me know what you think about this in the comments in the chat. From what you've seen so far, is it looking like that's going to be it for Gilbert Arenas? And this is pretty bad. And it seems from just a couple of text messages we saw, he knew what was going on. He was involved. Maybe he can claim he didn't know it was illegal. We'll have to wait and see. Oh, shout out to the gang, man. You just got to be careful who you hang around. And I hate that they put the codes and they don't put the indictment. Oh, gosh. It's not going to be good for Gilbert. But hopefully he gets to stay out of jail. Thank you again to everybody who showed major support. Thank you for the $8 over on the PayPal. Shout out to everyone who liked the video. Thank y'all for the super chats as well. Les Cleaver in here going crazy. Major sponsor is today's show. We had Slim Life New Jersey in the building. Just saying with Alicia was in here. Kara Hampton. We had Stephen Callie. And then, of course, my awesome, amazing Amy in here as always. We will be back tomorrow covering more of this trial with Nick and Doug Weinstein. So y'all make sure you tap in. If you haven't yet, like the video on your way out, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you don't miss any time that we go live or drop a new video. I'm looking forward to seeing y'all on the next one. We'll have some more videos dropping this afternoon, so make sure you look out for that. As always, you know what to do. Keep growing, keep pushing, keep it classy. We gon' peace. See y'all, man.